Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? Sparing no time, I'm here with my special guest, Nick Lenz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. And today we're talking about the recent Boruto and Art Two Blue Vortex chapter 4, I believe.
Yes, I think it just came out yesterday, and unlike the last two chapters, we actually have progression.
Something tells me you have a lot to talk about with this month's chapter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Chapter starts out basically with Baruto communicating with somebody over where Code is, and they suspect this is where the Ten Tails is, and supposedly Ten Tails, despite the fact we saw last chapter was pinned down in this area, it has disappeared. Don't know what happened to it. And we know who the person he's talking to in this chapter. We'll get to that.
Okay.
And then Bart just disappears thanks to a flying Rasengan. All right. Then, of course, Kawaki is debriefing Shikamaru about this. And, of course, Sadara points out some stuff that they apparently still don't like the fact that she's doing this. And the way it seems like that Shikamaru has written the way his relationship with Sadara is that he just gets the constant arguments with her, and she basically is like, just doesn't like him very much at all because of the fact he's too uptight.
Too uptight. That is a very specific term.
Yes, it's like he's like set in his own ways, and he is not believing Sadara at all, despite the fact she's telling the truth about the matter, and he thinks that she's lying.
Now, now, as much as I want to draw parallels to how everyone wanted to give up and condemn Sasuke, a lot of this is due to the omnipotence itself, and Shikamaru has no real agency in his actions. Ada hasn't said anything to the contrary, and Kawaki is just resolute in wanting Boruto dead. So I'm not
Yeah,
really
and
going to
he's
fault.
like, "Oh yeah," he points, "You're Obuski." He's like, "Yeah, I'm Obuski, killing another one."
Which,
That was a line from the chapter.
and as much as fans desperately want to make Kawaki a villain or antagonist or something along those lines, Kawaki is just doing what the Kage wanted Naruto to do, which was for the greater good. Momoshiki's inevitably going to take over as the karma progresses. Boruto needs to be dealt with. That's just the objective reality of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Naruto couldn't bring himself to do it, so Kawaki was ultimately going to do it for him. And I'd argue Boruto was further validated Kawaki's concerns because he was willing to martyr himself in an attempt to escape his fear of being taken over by Momoshiki.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to be abstract about it.
Yep. But instead, we just get other stuff.
I agree. But the main thing I wanted to go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
And right after the scene, Sadara is not sitting in the rest of the chapter.
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
was.
"Hi, I'm here. I'm going to argue with you," and then never seen again.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Most mangas you see, or most that get a lot of acclaim, are already completed series in manga form, and you're just waiting for the anime to adapt it. So,
yeah,
Kishimoto is definitely taking his time with this with Two Blue Vortex,
mm-hmm.
rather than being mandated to speed things along for the sake of the anime.
Yep. And then right after this, they discover something else going on here at the area where Ten Tails is, where Baruto knows Bug. Oh, someone's joining us.
What's up, Movie Theater King?
Nothing much.
It's been a while. Thank you for joining the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Nick, please continue.
Yeah, so we see Bug, and he's being transformed into a tree, and Code is like, he's not a tree, he's the divine tree. And we see what looks like he's transformed into one of the alien creatures we see from the series, the Otsuki. And there's like another one that shows up where it's a woman. And I'm like, who the heck are these people? And after Baruto sees them, he leaves. and meets with a guy who we've not seen since the end of the Kara arc, Jigen. Were you surprised to
Really?
see this? Yeah, he
I
shows
was.
up. Yeah, and then we finally found out what happened to Sasuke. Would you like to know?
Let's break down the chapter itself, and then we'll save the dramatic stuff for the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because the ending is a shocker to say the least. I mean, the
For you,
Jigen, so
Narch,
that's not exactly the end of the chapter. That's not the last page. That's the second to last page. That's where that happens, where Jigen shows up. Like, where the heck have you been all this time?
I don't. Okay, let's continue.
Wait, me or someone else?
No, it just basically it's about Jigen. I think readers like, where the heck have you been all this time?
Oh, okay.
It's just the readers basically probably wondering that when they read this chapter, if they read the manga and watched the anime, like asking, where the heck have you been all this time? Because last time anybody saw him, he went inside a toad's mouth, got teleported out someplace. That was the last time anybody saw of him.
Which is very interesting, but then this is like then I think like a version of because we know Bug got okay. The best way to break this down is basically what happened with Madara in the fourth grade ninja war and how Black Zetsu betrayed him to revive Kaguya. Just take that and amplify that times 10, and that's basically what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're trying to structure it more like a chapter breakdown, and then we'll cover deep spoilers and what we think once we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, please continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. I think in the case of this latter half of the chapter, it's like, okay, interesting. I wonder who these people are because apparently the same species as Kaguya, but apparently they got the powers of code because he used the same abilities as going away. He does this claw mark, goes through stuff. They apparently got his ability for some reason. It's not really explained here. It's like, oh, okay. And the guy who was apparently Bug is the much taller guy. He's bald. And he's got like a V on his face with the whole claw mark stuff. I'm like, what? The chapter does not explain who these people are. I'm assuming they're the same species as Kaguya, but they don't really say. Just here we go. We have two more of these Aksoski who appear here. And Ten Tails disappeared someplace, but we don't know exactly where it is. It's like, okay. I'm glad we're getting progression. Like, I would say it's more than the last two chapters. Right?
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, whatever happened to Bug, it's like kind of weird. It's like he's being turned into a tree, and then all of a sudden he's the vine tree. I'm like, what? I thought the vine tree was this giant redwood tree with a fruit on it. Because that's what described the vine tree, right? When seeing
Right.
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 Because when people think of tall trees, usually one tree we think of is the redwood trees in the West Coast.
Yes.
Because I think those are the tallest trees in the planet, aren't they?
Relatively.
Oak tree. Never mind.
Oak tree. Oak tree's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the whole like 10 tails being a tree, that's just one of its many forms.
Mm-hmm.
That's its fully final complete form after it's done sucking out all the chakra. But when it's a 10 tails mode, when it's like a tailed beast, it's still trying to harbor all the chakra from the planet. So that's why it's not in its tree form. It hasn't absorbed all the chakra in the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to my next point, and we're going to go ahead and speed this over because we spent 10 minutes on this breakdown. Basically, the 10 tails, thanks to the characteristics and chakra code is recklessly infused into it, breaks up into 4 composites based on the 4 personalities of the 4 most powerful or 4 most recent people it's absorbed. Bug, I want to say Moegi due to the resemblance, but that easily could have happened off panel. A third one I don't fully recognize, or at least we don't actually see them in tree form within the confines of the chapter itself. And Nick, you want to take this last one?
Sasuke has been turned into a tree.
First the Renegon, then his chakra, and now his drift. God damn it.
Yeah, how the heck this happened is probably explained over the course next chapter or two.
Hopefully in a flashback, unless this is another synergy type situation where they just leave the anime to dub it over for them.
Yeah, I know One Piece tends to do it where One Piece tends to have it where the anime adds a lot more because the writer, of course, Oda does his weekly, though occasionally it breaks. He might not have time to include this stuff. So the anime has to spread this stuff out and add more stuff in. Here, we get a good amount here, but it's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah. And Code kind of pulls a Sasuke Vegeta from the Namek saga where he just dips at the first opportunity. I'm like, don't act like you hot shit. You are not Vegeta.
Yeah. And Sadara basically is more correct than Kawaki is at this point.
I feel like Kawaki just doesn't care. He's fully resolute in what he's trying to do. And I might actually do a video about this, talking about the needs of the few and the path of absolutes and that whole theme. But even more so, Kawaki's just trying to finish what he started. Because from his perspective, Boruto was just a brat who's too full of himself to appreciate what he had. Maybe Boruto's himself. Maybe Momoshiki took over. Maybe Boruto pulled a Naruto and Kurama and they agreed to work together. Kawaki doesn't have all the facts. He's just acting on emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Movie Theater King, what do you think? Movie Theater King?
What did you say?
I was saying, what did you think about the how Kawaki's been acting in this chapter since the time skip, and depending on how far you've read the manga, of course.
I don't know. Doesn't it feel in character? I mean, we didn't get that much of Kawaki before the time skip.
No, a lot of Kawaki's development came in the anime. I will give you that.
Yes, I have my own feelings about certain arcs that happen in the anime.
The Chocho art was just a series of transition episodes, but Jesus Christ, was it bad?
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of people can agree the worst arc of the whole series.
Oh, hands down. Like it's borderline creepy at some points.
And does it progress the story of the series? No, it's just a minor bit of character run for Chocho.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. Basically it's your never meet your hero situation where she idolizes an actor from a shinobi soap opera.
And this should have been one episode, not 3.
I'd argue 2 at most. I'd argue 2.
Stretching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some arcs basically you can say a lot of them either they're the correct length. The only 2 in the whole series I can agree that should not have been like they've been. The Chocho arc is one of them. And the arc that came before, the second last arc they did for the end before it ended, the one that features Sasuke in the prison.
Wait, are you talking about the novel adaptation?
Yes, that should have been one more episode.
Oh, yeah, that definitely should have gotten an extra episode. I completely agree with you on that.
Because that ending was rushed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for real.
And they should have also adapted alongside of it. The Kakashi one took place at the same time as it. Because you got brief adaptation of it in the opening episode, and then, like, nothing. I expected maybe, like, side-by-side adaptation. Nope. They rather not do that at all. Let's just adapt the rest of the book and just not be bothered with it.
Technically, because every time you do translation in international media, it's basically the manga equivalent of a licensing fee, and they only wanted to license the Sasuke Resident novel specifically. They did not do a licensing for the Kakashi novel. They didn't do a licensing for the Naruto Resident novel. The only reason we got the Kakashi scene is because it was a prologue in Sasuke Resident, and it was referenced there. That's the only reason that scene was there.
Yeah, but both books, if you read them, they both take place concurrently with each other.
I mean, if you're going to license one, you might as well license the entire trilogy. I will give you that.
Yeah, the last book didn't fit. I would say that it's mostly from Naruto's perspective, where he's working with Orochimaru.
Yeah.
And also, the book has it where it has these scenes where Orochimaru is at Naruto's house. You're like, oh no, the main villain is at Naruto's house, and he's playing with Naruto's daughter, Himawari, who calls him a nickname, like Ocho.
Yeah, I've only read fan translations of the novel, but even then, that would have been great to see in
Well,
animation.
there is no translation of it. That one has been officially released. I reviewed it,
Oh,
and it is weird to say the least. Like the fact that they did this.
and while we're waiting on that, so the best way to really describe this is where now we don't know the full details. Nothing has been officially released in the manga, but at least you can make the argument Sasuke in an altercation against Code or the Claw Grinds, what have you. Sasuke got tagged and turned into a tree by Code at some point in an attempt to protect Boruto. Does that mean he broke for the omnipotence? Did they maintain a proper master and pupil dichotomy? We don't know, but we do know who was there to pick up the pieces. Kajin Koji, otherwise known as Jiraiya's clone. Now, Movie Theater King, if you actually kept up with the series, what did you think about Kajin Koji, and how did you react when you found out he was Jiraiya's clone?
I mean, there were theories for years, so it's the same thing like, oh, how did you react to Naruto being the fourth Hokage's son? Not really. I mean, it was hinted at for years.
The setup was there. I mean, the fact that an infant baby was bound to the Nine Tails, the fact that he was kept in secret, isolated.
Also, the fact that the only character that looks like him is literally the fourth Hokage.
Oh, and let me solo lay out Nick right here.
Yeah, this
Kakashi,
is well, it's
Kakashi
partially
Resident.
the opening story. The one that was adapted,
Sasuke Resident.
and the book you said you only read fan translation of.
Naruto Resident. And the basic, now not to be confused with the Parent and Child Day novel where they're just trying to build morale and have all these festivities. This is one where Naruto develops a chakra illness similar to the one the Sage of Six Paths developed for having too much raw power than his physical body could withstand. And they were trying to develop a cure. That's basically what happens in this overarching trilogy. And I want to say each book was about 150 pages each. At least that's what I want to say. And Movie Theater King, while we're waiting on Nick to get back, so Movie Theater King, what do you think of the chapter and Boruto as a whole so far? Because I know the Boruto Naruto 2 Blue Vortex video game came out last week.
It's all okay. The video game just gave Boruto an extra girlfriend. Like, come on, like with all the Naruto movies. Here's extra girlfriend number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, come on. I've seen enough.
I mean,
and Tsunade said Naruto wasn't as popular as Minato. Like, come on.
I'm back. I had to use the bathroom.
Do
Sorry
you
about
think
that.
Naruto's
It's
popular
all right.
woman as Minato?
Oh no, Minato's gene definitely skipped a generation. I think we've all established that. But
yeah, the thing with
I
think the reason why that Naruto's called by his mother's last name, this does happen in order to kind of protect him in a way because how famous his father was.
That is true.
Speaking of, Boruto learned the flying Raijin apparently.
Yeah,
hold on a second, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the heck he learned that.
Well, a notable, a realistic theory was that how Minato learned his flying Raijin was from Hiruzen, the third Hokage, which would make all the sense of the world because, hey, the third Hokage taught Jiraiya summoning jutsu, and seeing as how close Jiraiya was with Minato, they could have set something up to where, hey, old sensei, why don't you teach our student Minato the flying Raijin? I mean, from what we gathered from the Minato one shot, Jiraiya taught Minato a lot of jutsu, including the Rasengan, but that was a collaborative effort between the two of them.
Yeah. But when he was the Hokage, I remember they showed this in the anime where third Hokage recommended him, while the elders recommended Orochimaru.
Yeah.
And the daimyo is like, "Oh, you're student. Interesting." And well, Orochimaru was not named Hokage, and we got Minato instead. And that was shown in I think it was the anime original season, but I think it's mostly canon. It was a season that focused on Kakashi. There is time with Alma Black Ops.
I believe it was the Kakashi one shot where it's basically the fate of Team Minato, his recent experience with Anbu, and how he got the Sharingan.
Yeah,
At
the
least-
Anbu stuff in story. The best way to describe it, it's basically his friends were basically requesting the Hokage to remove him from the Anbu because it was affecting his psyche.
To an
Because
extent,
it was affecting him not that good. So first with the Minato said no, and then it was Mike Guy, Ashura, and Yorchi, I think her name is, the one who was Hinata's sensei. All three that went to the third Hokage, who had been reinstated at this point, asked him to remove him from the Alma Black Ops, and he grants request. And that's kind of how basically we got how Kakashi, who was already joining this point, becoming, in a way leading into him becoming all these, him becoming a teacher for the next generation.
didn't he fail a couple of gaining graduates out the academy before selecting Team 7?
Yes, I believe it was one I heard was triplets that he failed.
Huh.
Yeah, but the reason why that he failed them because he probably felt as though they weren't ready. And what is explained in the anime, he was hesitant to take his old teacher's son as one of his students. It's he had no problem with Sasuke or Sakura. It's just Naruto is slight. It's not because he was host of the Jury Nine Tails. That wasn't the issue. It's because he was his teacher's son. That was what he had a problem with.
And the Survivors Guild of what happened at Takamachi Bridge and what was essentially the fall of that version of Team 7. Kakashi was dealing with a lot of Survivors Guild during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, though at least that in the show, it only happened one episode. The reason why he wears his mask he wears, even when he was young, he wore the mask. The reason why he has a mold on his face. That's why.
Which, by the time he became an adult, he pretty much gone away for the most part.
Yeah, because even in Boruto, he actually does operate with the mask on under a secret identity of a reporter.
Which was also alluded to in Shippuden. I believe it was an anime filler episode.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm surprised that Kishimoto didn't exactly have this made canon of the reason why he wears his mask. It had to be done in the anime because it's never mentioned in the manga. And I appreciate the anime basically having a lot of development for Kakashi, the Shippuden anime. They gave him a ton of it.
They did. And
he's probably by far of the adult characters of previous generation, probably the most developed character out of all of them. More than Ashura or even Hinata's teacher.
Kurenai. Now, Kurenai was strictly Ashura's love interest and to be the mother of the first child of the new generation. That was pretty much Kurenai's entire role in the original Naruto series.
What about
Asuma?
Not Ashina. Asuma, Saratobi.
Yeah. And of
Asuma,
course,
thank you.
The teacher for Team 8, which is made up of Hinata, Kiba, and Shino.
Which arguably is one of the most dynamic out of all the Konoha 11's teams-wise. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, Team 7, was basically a roster between the top student and the worst student in the class. Hinata, Kiba, and Shino were pretty balanced dynamic. Inu-Chikachou was an intergenerational team / dynamic.
And Team Guy was...
from the previous school year.
Yes. True school, but his team specialty was taijutsu. That was the specialty of his team. Because that was one thing Mike Guy and Rock Lee had in common. They didn't know much from ninjutsu or genjutsu, but taijutsu they knew pretty well. And the way Mike Guy instructed his team, he basically gave Rock Lee special treatment. Though the thing is, it was hinted that these two might be related, but it was never confirmed. It could have been a fan theory these two can be related, but it was never confirmed in the series. The only reason people thought they were related because they had similar eyebrows. That's it.
And speaking of, and I know we're going off topic, people, but speaking of that, wasn't there a fan theory going around that Rock Lee and Ten got together while grieving for Neji, and that's how we got Metal and Boruto?
It's possible, but
They
surprise
never.
people never confirmed it.
Now, I believe the original Boruto series, at least the anime, not the manga, had a younger demographic, similar to what Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball Super had a more early child demographic compared to a preteen demographic, like what most anime like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Yu Yu Hakusho. So a lot of anime nowadays are demographic for younger children, or at least statistic wise. So it could have been a
Some,
censorship
but not
thing.
all of them. Like Tokyo Ghoul, that's not for kids.
Oh no. And by the way, that anime is god awful. Stick to the manga. You'll get a much better experience.
The first season is really good.
I'll give you that.
Second season, not that good. The animation's good. The voice acting is good. And Austin Tim, the guy who voiced Ken Kaneki, can't agree with this. That series was rushed. Except for the last 3 episodes. Yeah, but even Austin can agree with that, and he didn't know this, that Route A, which was that second season, that was all the creators of the series idea. To do that.
The manga is better. I've read the original.
But the weird thing about that season, the only main change you saw from the difference between the manga and the anime is what happened to the main character. Everything else, what I can tell from remember kind of reading the manga, is that everything else that happened there did happen. So it's like, it's mostly a mixture of more anime original content, a little bit of canon stuff here and there, but not a lot. I kind of wish that Para would. I kind of wish that company would have gave Reed more time, more than 24 episodes would have the 179 chapter manga. They should have given more time. They didn't. They just want to rush this thing because the manga was already over at this point. That's how I think a lot of people probably felt that way. Yes, the first season had the stories of what, but it was good. Start to finish, that first season's fantastic. It just Route A was bad. Wasn't terrible, it was just rushed. That's how I feel about it. There's also another one that's also not for kids. I've not watched it, I heard it's really good.
Hey.
One at a time. Movie Theater King, go ahead.
Oh no, you guys were glitching for a minute.
Okay.
Oh.
Tokyo Ravengers. I have not watched the series, but I heard it's really good. This is basically about revenge. And I did hear recently, you know, I've heard about this. One of the voice actors was caught cheating on his wife. And apparently, you know, here in the US, that's okay. In Japan, that's a no-no. Because that he got blacklisted for cheating on his wife. Here.
Oh.
Hi, Tibia.
Hey, Nick.
What's up?
It's kind of basic.
Recently, what's going on? Oh, sorry to interrupt, but I suppose you heard.
We're talking about Boruto. We already kind of finished talking about the chapter. We're talking about other stuff related to anime.
Okay.
Right, Jay Blaze?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, we had just finished it. We kind of just breezed through it because the chapter just released today, and I didn't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the case of, let's say, if Tokyo Ghoul gets another adaptation, let's say if it does, the one studio who will be perfect for it, and you might agree with Jay Blaze, Madhouse.
Yep, that's a good studio. I could see them pulling it off.
Would they do it? Who knows?
I told Mappa, but Mappa doing a lot of this shit right now due to the Kaizen. I'm not kidding. I just heard about that today.
That's a separate Tevia, that's a separate video. That is a separate video.
Sorry.
Yes. I've watched Jujutsu Kaisen.
Same.
I like the series. I think the studio, I don't know if it's Madhouse doing Jujutsu Kaisen or not.
No, it's Mappa.
Yeah, Mappa. They're doing a great job with the series.
Yeah, but there's been controversy that happened after today. It's not after Sunshine and Rainbows.
Yeah, I don't know what the controversy is, but I enjoy the anime for Jujutsu Kaisen. But but I think the only reason we're not getting, you might agree with this, Jay Blaze, the reason we're not getting part 2 right now for Boruto is because of Bleach.
Yeah, they're definitely waiting for that to wrap up. That I've
I
already
thought
accepted.
we only fans on Hulu.
I thought it was
well,
for the manga.
no, the anime.
I mean,
Now,
There's like 2 more parts left, and that's it.
wait, are
Yeah.
you talking about Naruto or Tokyo Ghoul?
No,
Overall.
Bleach. The reason
Bleach,
we're not
yeah.
getting Boruto, the anime, is on hiatus. That's because the studio put everything into Bleach.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, but
Yep,
like,
which if you see that season so far, it looks really good. They did a great job with it. They did face one controversy
The
What?
voice actor change.
for one character.
Who?
You're
Yoichi.
reaching. Apparently, because they changed this one character from the original voice actress, apparently everybody threw a fit about it, and then Viz Media had to replace her. And this all happened the very day that the new one announced she was going to be voicing Yoichi, replacing Wendy Lee. I was not upset with this. A lot of our people were upset with it. Like, it was all over Twitter about this.
I
nonsense.
remember this.
Now?
It was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah, I've never seen a recasting backlash this bad. I've never seen this like happen while I've been watching anime. Where like, oh, we get this new voice actress, and then she gets replaced Wendy Lee for next episode.
What sucks? What the hell?
Now, we don't know the full details of why Whitney stepped down. We just know that she ultimately left the role. It could have been for PR reasons. It could have been that for scheduling conflicts. We don't know.
She's back in the role.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
the
for
one who
clearing that up.
replaced her. Some people didn't like it. It's the one who actually replaced the original Henry, the blonde hair girl, the Vizards. She did say on Twitter that she's continued voicing her, but she's not voicing Yoichi anymore.
What?
She voiced
So
her for one episode, and then she got replaced by Wendy Lee. Now, I don't know if this was Viz Media basically just had to do this or fan backlash.
I saw fan backlash.
Here's the thing. Okay, did Wendy Lee need to come back to the role? Maybe. Did Viz Media replace the character? Not necessarily. There was nothing wrong with the actress portrayed her. If anybody watched the episode, the actress did a pretty decent job for one episode she worked on.
I still need to watch Bleach. I've been so busy with that stuff.
And Bleach also decided to replace some of the voice cast. I mean, not just her. Chad got replaced.
Yeah,
I know it is.
Third voice actor. The reason I heard was because the actor didn't want to be voicing a character who isn't the same ethnicity as him, which I think is bullcrap. And of course, they replaced Ikaku. But this one, there is a reason. Because Ikaku's original voice actor was Vic Vanalia.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's fully blacklisted from Funimation, but there was some massive melodrama going on during that.
Yeah, I heard he's back with anime, but he's hasn't come out yet, but he's back in voicing right now. The person who replaced him was Todd Heppercorn.
Oh,
He's funny. I couldn't stop laughing at the fact that the way he portrayed him. I'm like, okay, I gotta praise Todd Heppercorn for this. It's not like he's coming in to replace a guy this is probably also, and this is quite strange. This is also the third character that Vic Vanalia's played and gets replaced. And here's the thing. This is also the first one where Johnny Ambash is not coming to replace him.
That is true. Johnny Ambash is not. Yeah.
He like Vic Vanalia voiced Sabo, got replaced with Johnny Ambash. Broly, got replaced with Johnny Ambash. His character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamonds Miracle, he got replaced, but it wasn't Johnny Ambash. It was some other voice actor I'm not really familiar with. But those 4 have been replaced. The one character I think Funimation is not going to replace, they're not going to dub over his character, is his character.
What about Vic Mignogna?
His character from Home Alchemist. They're not going to replace that because that happened years ago. So
yeah,
they're not going to touch old anime because Funimation is not that stupid to do that. Netflix might do that, but not Funimation.
And speaking of Netflix, this is a quick tangent, I promise. Scott Pilgrim's Take Off has recently released, and when I say it's a faithful adaptation of the comic, no, it's more of a direct sequel to the movie, and it's
it's actually a direct sequel to the comic and the movie
to an extent. but it's more of a coming of age story for Ramona and giving her more character growth and more to do rather than just being the damsel or quote unquote damsel for most of the original for most of the story and the reconciling with her exes.
Yep.
So could you argue bait and switch from a marketing standpoint to a degree, but in
No.
execution not so much. It just
The way to put it involved. The way to put it involved with the exorcism show. This is his baby.
I'm not going to go too far into it, but essentially Scott Pilgrim was just taken out of the spotlight for the first 2 episodes to further warrant this character growth for Ramona and the other cast.
Yeah.
He was, yes, but
And
that's
it's
the point.
surprising, though,
To
the
get
guy
more of
who wrote-
what if.
One at a time, gentlemen. Nick.
The guy who created Scott Pilgrim is not American. He's Canadian.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, John Byrne is Canadian. People love his work.
Yeah.
Or here's one for you: Todd McFarlane. He's Canadian as well, and people love his work. Or David Finch, proclaimed a popular Batman artist. People love his work, even though he's Canadian. Or here's a couple others: Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, though he's a bit mixed. James Robinson, I think he's British, if I'm not mistaken.
Tomasi?
I'm pretty sure he's British.
Yeah. Tomasi's American.
Yeah, Tomasi is American. That ain't. I know there's one
Neil
from Australia.
Neil
Neil Gaiman, yes.
Yeah. No Game is another one. Despite whatever countries they come from, they're still good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. I have nothing like. Oh, here's another one for you. Not very known. The fact he's actually not American. Mike Diodalo Jr. And guess where he's from?
Argentina?
Brazil.
Close. I was close.
Yeah. But if you see his artwork, damn, the guy is.
That also one artist you missed, Jorge Mendes. He's from I think Mexico. I think.
I think De Marquez is also Mexican as well, isn't he?
I could be wrong about that. But
I don't want to misspeak on that, but the point is diversity calls in all shapes and sizes. That's not the problem.
Yep.
That will never be a problem in storytelling. It's the fact you're using it as a crutch.
How good the work is that we're critical of, not what their ethnicity it is or what nationality they are. It's how good the work is. That's
because ultimately people don't care. When your product is bad, it's just bad.
Yep. Anyways, I was going to give my thought on Scott Pilgrim. Like I said, I watched the show. It was really good. The action scenes were awesome. It's a kind of what if scenario. It's super funny. It's super hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think he writes more Scott Pilgrim, the guy who wrote it. I think last comic I read for him, I only read one comic he wrote on. I read a little bit of Scott Pilgrim. It's a series called Snot Girl.
Yeah, I know.
It's actually a good series. Didn't last very long, surprisingly. I think last.
I think 3 volumes.
I think he's still going to, but it's good. Take time.
Yeah. I mean,
3 volumes.
What Snot Girl is. It's basically she's called Snot Girl because she sneezes a lot, and she's also bisexual.
Yep.
But okay, where's the character being bisexual? That is never an issue. We as fans have no problem with that.
But
if you reckon a clearly straight character is bi or gay, that's stupid.
Yep. Case in point.
Tim Drake.
Yep.
Now, who was gay or bisexual was a bad idea.
It would have bad him in day one.
I will play devil's advocate here because there is a way you can show some decorum about it if you have an overarching story, if you lead to it, and it's organic in relation to the characters and their experiences. Some people do come out later in life. Sure. But those 2 examples, especially the former with Iceman, are infamous because of poor execution, the fact that it was a cash grab, and those respective comics where that retcon happened were shelf titles, which means they had no larger effect on the line whatsoever.
Well, in the case of Iceman,
Tevia, one at a time, please. Nick, please continue.
In the case of Iceman, that happened the final issue of Bennett's All New X-Men. Before it was later also did in KX 600, but that's where it started with, in the final issue of that run. In the case of Tim Drake, it happened in issue 5 of an anthology title.
Yeah.
And the setup we got and the payoff we got for that, a lackluster shelf title and a notoriously bad tie-in comic to a very lackluster DC event, which was essentially death metal calling a do-over.
Which that tie-in, the only good about it is the artwork. and the fan service that they attempt to take away from people.
Sharing the story to be a crap and garbage story that made no sense, but you get it, fan. It's almost like the Bender story. We got a stronger, not Bender, right? It's almost like this book story and the Bender, but much worse. Why does it make bad one? They don't get
And
it.
it's a shame though that Megan Fitzmartin is not doing anything at DC right now. I mean, we just did these uses list just today. It was there any comic that her name was on? Nope.
Not that I saw. Now she is doing some work in January. I think that's when her contract wraps up in January.
I really like doing the last video because
if she wants to do home creator content, fine.
Yeah.
Keep away from established characters.
And I think she was a showrunner from Netflix before she was contracted with DC. I want to say it was for what was that show she worked on?
I'm not really sure because
I can't remember.
There was a former writer who people don't like very much is Josie Campbell, but that one is infamous.
That is true. That is true. I also suggest Tim Sheridan because his Teen Titans Academy run was just god awful.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a disappointment than me bad. That's from my perspective. Because it could have been good. Tim Sheridan, I think as far as I can tell, prior to release, I don't think he worked on anything for DC prior to that title. I think that was his debut title.
Movie Theater King, what did you think about Teen Titans Academy? While I got you here.
No comment.
I respect that.
It's like it could have been so much more. I had no problem with the Academy aspect. That was not the issue. The artwork was really good for the series. One of the biggest issues, I think a lot of people can agree, was the worst problem with the book was Red X.
And not just that. Doing that stuff, yeah, boring. But the second thing wrong with that story, it was boring. Nothing happened. For 15, not 15 issues. I forget how many issues that thing went on.
17.
7 issues. Nothing happened. And the Captain Marvel with the Mole family stuff. What the hell was that shit? That drove me mad. And Captain Marvel fan,
about that title. That's how it sprung up 2 miniseries.
Yeah.
That's his handbook, which Tim Sheridan wrote.
Bad.
It was not bad. I didn't think it was that bad, though. It was kind of weird, the fact that Captain Morgan Baldwin with Necron from Underworld Unleashed. I don't know why. The other one was Crush Lobo, which is done by Marco Tamakagi.
Which I've actually read. It's actually pretty good. It's a father-daughter adventure. They can somewhat reconcile and tolerate each other. And Adam Glass's Teen Titans is barely referenced. Like, this was a pretty solid book.
Yeah.
But
the biggest problem I had, like, if you look at that run for Adam Glass, it's like, okay, what's the big issue with the book? Is Tim Drake? Not Tim Drake.
Damian Wayne.
Minor at best. Biggest problems you can say with the book, the other storyline been going on for too long.
Yeah.
Micron, who was a Gold Balls ripoff. Daijin, what was the purpose of this character? Aside from the fact it added Crush as a lesbian, which fine. Okay, it's a character Adam Glass created. Aside from that, not much else.
The Secret Prison, that's actually taken from Arkham, where the Bat family actually does stuff like that in very severe circumstances. But even then, that is a rarity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're actually factoring Jen, she was a love interest for Damian because of the success of Damian and Raven and the DeCamu. So that was more of a synergy play on Adam Glass's part. And I believe Adam Glass was a showrunner on Supernatural, so because there was a very melodramatic element to it. But he was just dragging it out at this point. I don't know if it's because I don't know how long Robbie Thompson was co-writing that book, but he should have at least said something by issue 30. By issue 30, he should have said something.
I think Adam Glass was on the book until around issue. He came on with 20. I think he left around issue 40 because basically the last few issues were done by Robbie. But another problem I have with the book, and you might agree with this, the Teen Titans being headquartered out of a warehouse.
In New Jersey.
Yep.
Yes.
That's second part.
And I have a question related to that. What was wrong with Titans Tower?
Why did it blow up?
No, but any New Jersey fans out there. If you live in New Jersey, there's no
by accident.
Yeah. But,
hold on. Movie Theater King, can you please repeat that? Because I want to get the disclaimer out there so everyone can hear it.
No hate to any New Jersey fans out there.
Thank you, Movie Theater
Yes.
King.
No hate.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and also, like, what was the purpose of being headquartered at a warehouse? Really? Like,
Nothing.
my car was damaged during the Super Son Tomorrow storyline. It was damaged. It wasn't destroyed. It was damaged, but it was fixed. And then we had in the last issue, oh, we're gonna have Kid Flash and Ray make out, and then it's never mentioned again.
Well,
Not
they
just that.
Because
Oh.
next thing Raven, she's off in the Titans book by Dan Abnett, where she does a little bit here and there, not
Yes.
much. And of course, basically, the only character from that run didn't go to that actually left the book, didn't go to that book was Aqualad. He got moved over to Aquaman for the last year of the book by Kelly Simohonic, who did a pretty good job with the character, even though yes, he was gay. Fine. Tomasi created the character, so
No.
I don't
wait.
have an issue with him being out as gay. That's not the issue at all. Him being Black Mantha's son, not an issue. I had no issue with Aqualad. It's just that there was so much Ben Percy could do with the character, but then nothing happened because he got removed from the title. Because reasons. If I get a chance to answer Ben Percy this, why did he leave Teen Titans and Green Arrow? Because that is a question I would love to ask him because right after he left both books, the books basically slowly went downhill.
Every bit. And
Every bit. And also, I like to add the Teen Titans book with it. That Teen Titans book also had one to John. John went to find the Teen Titans, but he said, "No, I can't find them because I got a letter."
hold on, let me
Bullshit.
change the
John
banner.
I knew will never, ever ban his best friend. He would never ban his best fucking letter. That is shit. The John I knew the bad and also that's his best friend. He would go to heaven and hell to save him. But the second he found a letter, you can't find me. D. And then I can't find it. And he burned the letter. Bullshit.
Breathe, Tevia. Breathe. Breathe.
That was my number one. Okay, worst con of that year. I hate that book. But that book's so bad. It's even worse. Okay, that book and Teen Titans are both better than Marines. They're both bad of garbage.
At least Teen Titans had one or two writers after he left, compared to Green Arrow went through 4 or 5.
True.
Yeah,
I
I believe Ben Percy left after issue 16. Oh, Movie Theater King must have glitched out. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah.
But,
Percy left Green Arrow after issue 38.
Mm.
And then he got replaced with, well, the guys behind the current Outsiders book, Colleen Kelly and Jackson Loring, for the first 2 issues. And then it was, let's see, I think it was Sam Humphries, because I think it was Tim Stilley did the book briefly. Very briefly, and then we also had a brief run about the Bensons, which I thought was the best issues of this batch. And then they got removed from the book because DC wants to take the book, did different take on the book. And then of course you bring back those 2 writers who replaced Ben Percy for the last 2 issues of the book, which actually not that bad. Strange that the book also had tie into Heroes in Crisis.
Now, there is no that storyline was completely editorial mandate. There was no salvaging that story. There really wasn't.
Yeah, because we had to ruin Wally West for no reason.
Yeah,
what's up, Kaliam? Good to see you too,
and
man.
In fact, we had to death a bunch of characters for no reason. Oh,
very obscure ones, mind you.
One of those characters was from a drug PSA.
Protector.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, here's the thing. He was created to be a stand-in for Rob because apparently he couldn't be in those issues because apparently Robin was tied up in another sponsorship. He couldn't do the drug PSA, so Protector was brought in as a member. And here's the strange thing about Protector. Did you know he never appeared in an issue of Teen Titans?
No.
Besides supposed to be a member? Yeah, Jay Blaze and I talk about this during the solicits.
We did.
The book I'm excited
for.
Yes, I'm excited for this book. A lot of reasons. 1, it's the Super Sons. Dude, it's something I've been wanting for years. Okay, it may not be since Super Sunday, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I got to have Super Sunday in something. What?
Yeah, so basically,
Whatever it covers.
One at a
this guy
time, gentlemen.
here, this kid, the one who's Nestor's son, he probably is Snoke's brother. Because, or at least half brother, because, well, the best way to describe it is that Sinestro had one kid, and his wife was Abin Sur's sister.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a review of pre
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint, which they kept that canon. That part was canon because all Grant this one was kept untouched. Purely because Jeff Johns was writing at that point. So
Yep.
I think Dan DiDio knew not to take off Jeff Johns, even though he did when he did that stupid memo. Remember that stupid memo that came out? Oh yeah, because they try to have Batwoman marry Maggie Sawyer, like, and they're like, no, we can't do that because none of our superheroes marry except for Animal-Man, which I heard
Yeah,
that is a rumor of the reason why Jeff Johns left Aquaman.
Yep.
They ended up leaving the book in protest, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got replaced with Jeff Parker, who had a great run in the book. And then you had Colin Bunn, who had a very brief run, and then you had Tomasi. Yeah, I think it was Tomasi. No, it was Tomasi. It was Dan Abnett.
Tomasi wasn't in core. He wasn't in core.
Tomasi, I forgot. Tomasi worked on Aquaman. Patrick Gleason did. Patrick Gleason did work on Aquaman. He worked on not the Rebirth volume, not New 52. The volume that came before that. Before Sword of Atlantis, it was the volume that was from the early 2000s. He worked on that with John Ostrander. So at least Gleason's had a hit to its head up, but not Tomasi.
Interesting. Yep.
Yes. Let's see. Dan Abnett was one of two writers for the Rebirth run. He got replaced with Kelly Sohonic, who
tanked the book. Let's be honest.
Yeah, she tanked the book hard.
Yeah, the book wasn't bad per se. It's like, okay, let's have Aquaman have amnesia for some reason, and like have it where let's hand out the one thing aspect of the book that I did not like at all. I think readers probably agree with me on this. Was that Aquaman wanted to marry Mira, even though people thought he was married anyway. It's supposed to be at the end of the previous volume, and they trying to get married, and some group known as the Widowhood didn't approve of it. I'm like, they're a sect. They don't have authority over the king who he marries. He can marry whoever he wants.
They've been married for decades.
Yeah, but
no, they were in a very long term. Yeah, but post Flashpoint, they weren't married in the New 52.
Yeah, and
that makes no sense because
there was
Aquaman called her a queen.
Nonsense. Like they also have an embassy, which after Black Manta attack, let's close the embassy. And by the way, the way Dan Abnett wrote, like, think the U.S. can close the embassy? No, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
it's the country's responsibility to close the embassy, not the U.S.'s responsibility. I'm like, why the heck Dan Abnett did that for? I have no idea. It's like, if I'm going to go visit his embassy, and like, nope, it's blocked off by U.S. troops. And that is so stupid.
It's usually a mutual agreement between both countries. Now, if you had wrote it in a way to where the president made a recommendation, but Arthur still had to approve it, that would be discourse. And
but he didn't approve this at all.
Yep.
No, he's kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, he was dumbfounded about it, but so he decided to visit the White House, which he tried to, but was blocked by Steve Trevor, who for some reason was chief of staff.
When did that happen?
I have no idea. It happened in this book. It also happened in Superman and Wonder Woman when they attempted to visit the White House, where they're intercepted by the Parasite.
But they're intercepted by Transport X.
Yeah, but here's the strange thing. This continuity's got two Parasites. You have the one that popped up with the Parasite one shot, and the one you kind of saw recently. Now, when I read the first Parasite we're seeing here was a complete original character. I think his name was Joshua Allen III. That was the one that popped up in Superman Wonder Woman. And the one that popped up in the first arc for Superman by Josh Williamson, that was actually the second Parasite, Rudy Jones, who actually first showed up in Firestorm. Yeah, they brought him this current continuity, and
What the hell is that panel?
Yeah, I know some
Yep.
of the truth line when they attempt to visit the White House, and
Yeah, this is the one I'm trying to find.
then here's something really strange. They had Barack Obama show up toward the end of that run, except here is the thing: by the time we show in the book, Barack Obama was out of office. Trump was in office at that point.
Ugh, don't mind me. Yeah, issue 20.
Yeah, and like,
Only one guy have been on Mr. President. Oh my
yeah, and
god.
here's
this
the
is
strange thing
stupid.
about Trump. Like, here's something that even you, Jay Blaze, probably noticed this. With the exception of Savage Dragon, who featured a parody of him,
So did Spawn.
there was like one, maybe two comics that even featured Trump at all. No Marvel comic featured Trump at all. DC never featured Trump at all. He wasn't even mentioned. Like,
Nope.
you mentioned all the previous parodies. You mentioned Bush, you mentioned Clinton, you mentioned Reagan, but not Donald Trump. All because of idiots who like Trump. It's an absolute piece of nonsense. Like, you feature Obama, you don't feature Trump. That makes no sense.
Not to mention in comic books, presidents get parodied all the time. It's satire.
Yeah, but not to be featured them? Like, name one DC book that features Donald Trump. 0. Marvel, 0. Image, once. Issue Savage Dragon. And it was also this Trump's Raiders book that some indie company published. And that was it. That was Trump's only exposure for comics. When he was
Also, Trump didn't Spawn.
Yeah, it's still Image, Tevia.
yeah, I don't remember him pop up in Spawn. Maybe I may miss the issue.
Yeah. I gotta show you it.
It's kind of weird that Image is the only company that features him, but not Marvel DC. You would think they would. Oh, there's Trump.
Yeah, here it is. Ta-da.
Yeah, and like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's a demon.
I would love to know the reason why Trump can appear in the issue of Marvel Comics or DC. There must have been a reason why.
Editorial must have thought it was too lowbrow to actually satire.
Well, we had Captain Hyde. We had Captain Hyde there in that time. We got a Trump analog.
Yeah, which was stupid. Which that's not how Trump is.
Yeah, Captain Hydra. Ha! He returned.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Hydra Cap is the main reason I left Marvel because at this point, that's it. Nope, I'm done.
Yeah, and then of course he got taken out by the real Captain America, who was Captain the Cosmic Cube for some reason.
Yep.
So he comes back, beats up Hydra Cap, and you're like, what? And then of course he gets thrown off in jail. Then pops up in Despicable Deadpool.
Gets killed by Soin.
Nope, not in that book. He gets killed off another book. And
Yeah,
then he comes back. He came back just recently where he's actually been revived somehow, where he's a new Captain Krakoa.
Captain Krakoa.
Which, okay. In story, that kind of makes sense, but number one, how the heck this happened? Because last time we see his body was burned.
To a crisp.
He was probably good.
And isn't the Krakoa stuff with X-Men finally over? Like no revival, no resurrections, nothing, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're on the end of
I
that.
think there's a mini series known as The Fall of House of X and like the Rise of Rise of X, I think it is.
Yes.
Oh, Movie King is back. I heard that this initiative started because they got a new editor, which apparently was an editor for the Avenger books.
Yep.
Wait, Young Justice. Oh yeah, he did do an issue of Young Justice. I believe he did a filler issue.
Maybe from the Peter David run.
Yep. But anyway,
I agree. The aspects of that book I didn't like, but it was definitely a good run. And it's also surprising how Dan Abnett currently does nothing for Marvel DC.
Hold on. Movie Theater King, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Back to Captain Hydra. They brought him back in Uncanny Avengers.
yes.
Yeah, where he was real with Captain Krakoa.
Yeah.
Which
But do you think he can be saved as a character like Captain?
No.
No,
He's a
no,
villain.
no. Wait, are you talking about redemption or in terms of being an overarching character in general?
I'm talking about like as a good villain character, not as redemption.
Okay, as a good
No.
villain, depends on the writer. It always depends on the writer. I will say that much.
Because
Yeah, and
I'm-
the book was written by Nick Spencer. You can see like every book the guy popped up in was young Nick Spencer book.
No. Spencer did not Uncanny Avengers. No.
That was Duggan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devin doing a new one.
I mean, do you want to see more of evil? What was his name? Evil
Steve.
Steve?
No, I want him to
Steve-O.
go away. I don't want him back.
Yeah.
I mean, it fulfills that old trope of the evil clone come back for revenge trope. Anyone remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't Dark Web do the same thing with Billy O'Reilly and
Yeah,
his
with
character
Catwoman.
assassin?
Oh, and here's the thing. Apparently, in Dark X-Men, which is a team led by Alan Pryor, he's on that roster.
Huh.
No, he left the group at the end of issue 2. He said, "Fuck it, my God, I'm leaving," and he leaves.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he was even there from the first place.
Can I just get rid of him and to kill off, please? I want to have him dead than beat this monster. I hate saying that, but he's too
It's
far
baffling they turn a popular character into this.
I don't even
I-
see what people don't even hate Bill Riley like that. He did not deserve this. Like,
No, he doesn't.
I understand the trope, how the clone is bitter for being a clone, but even then, that's a played out trope from the 90s. I guess I never read Dark Red. Again, that was after
Don't
Hydra.
bother. We're not missing much.
Benjamin Riley, the riled up Spider-Man.
Yeah, the name comes from,
Thank you, Movie Theater King.
yeah,
Thank you.
the name comes from Ben comes from Uncle Ben, and Riley comes from Aunt May's
Not
maiden
me.
name. Yes. Now it's weird though the fact that Dark Web depicts Madeline Pryor's maiden one. No, it's Ben Riley.
Yep. Venom's in it. You does nothing.
Oh, by the way, they have Venom.
Oh,
working with
that's
them.
I don't like.
One at a time, gentlemen.
Sorry.
Nick, if you please.
In the Venom tie-in, it's felt as though like, Venom was gonna be on their side. Not really. He said he was looking for their son, and not much happened with that.
Yep.
It's almost like, what was the point of it?
Doing with Eddie.
Yeah. The Venom run, it seems like ever since Donny Cole has left the book, it's been okay, not terrible.
It's been confusing in my brain.
Yeah, and then here's this thing. They replaced Al Ewing and Ram V with this new writer who's writing Carnage,
Okay.
who is a Norwegian writer. And then I saw in the February solicit for Marvel that she's off the title and Al Ewing is back.
Yep.
Okay, Quicksilver Scarlet Witch. That book. They canceled the really good Scarlet Witch book by Steve Lamb for this miniseries.
Well, that's confusing.
And the reason? Because 60th anniversary debut of these characters. That's the only
That's
reason
a
why.
dumb reason. What the hell?
Yeah. And also we have a night. And by the way, Fabian deceased went on Twitter about the Night Thrasher series. He's like, a Night Thrasher series. Okay. He didn't care about it at all.
I don't blame him.
Wait. So is this strictly a Night Thrasher by himself, or is this trying to salvage the whole?
This is him by himself.
Okay.
think.
This is the because what was that? What was that bad team that was that comic that got
The
pitched
New
but never
Warriors.
made? Thank you, Tevia. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a bad volume that was going to come up with since been canceled, but that book was good part of that.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, and get this.
We'll just see
the
the
last
classic.
line-
One at a time, Nick.
The last line that had New Warriors didn't feature Night Thrasher at all. He was absent the entire run. He didn't pop up into the final issue of that book.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I have no problem with Night Thrasher, but what is the reason why he has to get a miniseries now?
I have
None.
no idea.
There's no reason for this at all. And
There's
also,
no reason. We don't need this.
Spider-Punk I get because he's popular. Fine. I have no problem with him getting a book. That's fine. No issue with that. Oh, Tim, did you hear about that Gail Simone tweet where she liked a picture of Carol Danvers when she was still Miss Marvel, and
Aw.
Kelly wanted to try to call on it for daring to like that picture. You know, a show
Wait,
for
what?
legs or arms, where she looks as beautiful as possible, and then like she had to criticize Captain Marvel's current suit, where it looked too tight on her. Like, screw up.
Okay.
Well, okay, bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
See it? Look, there's the Carol Danvers costume right there. It's right next to, right there. That one.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah, people
I've seen
love
that
that
before.
costume. It's a great looking costume, and I'm like, what is really wrong with this costume? Nothing.
I have no problem with either. It looks fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
my Marvel's review ended up getting delayed, but the movie was aggressively mid. I know it's ultimately going to flop, but at least from what I saw, it was aggressively mid.
It was a man movie at best. I give my rating a 2 out of 5.
Is this a new issue number with these variant covers, Tivia?
I'm not sure. Yeah, no, Captain Marvel issue 5.
Okay. Not sure why all the variant covers is weird.
I like some of her outfits.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
binary.
Yeah.
Don't know what
The
that
other
one-
outfits are fine. It's like currently Marvel is afraid to show off her legs. It's same thing with Power Girl.
I like
It's like,
her,
oh wait, we
magic
can't
form.
show off this beautiful woman's sexy legs.
Oh, yeah, Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, the only reason why
Why?
they brought this back because it's 10 years of Spirit Spider-Man.
It's so unnecessary. It's just, why?
Oh look, it's written by Dan Slott and Mark Bagley.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna trust.
Given
Mark
out the
Bagley.
last one, and it with the Spider nonsense, would made no sense. I made a
Yeah,
pocket fan.
here's something interesting. This book is not drawn by Roberto Ramos. He wrote the original run.
No.
Didn't make sense about Captain Marvel. Like, why was she paired
Well,
up with Rudy
fortunately, I heard this is
Jones?
great. Oh, Stormbreaker.
Oh, okay, Tibbet. Here's a little fun fact about Beta Ray Bill. I asked Walt Simons about him. Like, what was behind the scenes creation of the character? He says there was no real reason. He thought He thought what character looked cool, holy millionaire.
That's
That's the
cool.
reason this character existence.
Mm, I
And that's
bet
really Walt Simons himself. He's the one who created this character, and that's his opinion. And I'm like, okay, since he's the one who said it, I believe it. Do you believe it, Tibia?
Yeah. I believe it. I respect that. Mm.
Yeah. I think that the Immortal Thor book, I've read the first couple issues of it. It's really good.
Yep.
Oh, look, Thunderbolts.
Issue 3 or 4.
And look at the creative team. Colin Kelly and
Jackson
Jackson Gilden,
Landing.
which they're also ready to book it over DC, The Outsiders.
Yep.
Seems
Like I
like
said
it's pretty-
Like I
Yeah.
said before, this book is my motivated book of January. This is number 1, baby. Also, look, Young John Kent. Gee, it's all my DC and they face fucked up and want the DA out like normal. This about me to be Jewish, though. Yes, but you know what? I don't care.
Now I know we need to get
Oh, thank you.
I know we need to get back to our original topic, talking about Boruto and Naruto. But I
Yeah.
just want, since Tevi is a guest on the panel, I just wanted to let him have his say. But before I move on, I'm just going to say this: there are more than likely editorials just trying to pitch lightning strike in a bottle twice and try to pick back what they ultimately dropped the ball on. That is all I'm going to say on it. Will it work? Probably not. But hey, at least there's more content and it's the potential for an original story. So I'm just glad. I'm surprised I got Tomasi back at all.
Yeah,
Same.
given the fact he didn't want anything to do with DC. That's what Tinief told me.
Yeah.
I told Tomasi this. He's like, who told you that? Tinief did.
Yep.
And now he's back working DC doing this. He's doing Green Lantern, which is a book he's had success with, because here's the thing comes a period of Tomasi. He has had more successful books at DC. He's kind of in a way worked on a lot of successful books as Jeff Johns has.
Yep.
I mean, you got Super Sons, obviously,
Superman.
Robin, Volume 2. You had Green Lantern Corps, Volumes 2 and 3 he worked on. He worked on a lot of the Bat books. Outside of the main Batman Detective, he worked on the Batman Arkham Knight, which is the prelude to Batman Arkham Knight video game. He also worked on Arkham Knight Genesis. which
Yep.
is really good. It's like it was that short period of time where like every single Batman miniseries was a lot of it was written by Perry Tomasi. Well, he captured like one or two. Heck, he even did the Forever Evil Arkham War miniseries. That was him.
He also did Superman. Superman was fantastic. I read that book multiple times.
Yep, that was another book he worked on. But
Yep.
the guy has had more hits than misses.
They just destroyed everything. I'm so pissed off by that.
Well, I didn't have a problem with his junk just like you did, Tivia. But Superman was decent for what it is. And I've actually spoken to some people, Tivia, about his Superman work. His work nearly killed the title. And
I killed the title. It destroyed it.
Philip Kennedy Johnson, he practically saved the Action Comics title.
Yep. Which, oh God Almighty.
Yeah, I spoke to someone about it when I met him, and Tivia, he does remember you from when you met him in New York Comic Con.
Yay.
But before I move on, because Movie Theater King, I never got a chance to ask you this. How did you feel about Gotham War in any recent Batman titles or how DC is currently heading?
I am not reading Batman.
Can you repeat that? I could barely hear you.
He
I
said he
don't
doesn't
read-
read Batman.
Oh, okay.
Because Batman's already the poster child for DC. I'm sure I can read some of his older comics, which I've seen some, and some other ones like from different Earths. But for the mainline Batman, I'm kind of good. We always have video games and TV shows, so I'll always be around for those. But I always want to try to like read other heroes aside from Batman because he's in everything.
Yep.
Have you read any issues of Robin or Nightwing?
Or Superman.
I read Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman. Who else? Flash, yeah, Flash. But not of the Bat family as of yet.
Yeah, I would recommend Nightwing by Chuck Dixon.
I mean, I've read the Curse of the White Knight series. Sorry, by the way.
Yeah, Curse
Yeah.
White Knight. But the Nightwing series by Chuck Dixon, really good.
Masterpiece.
Yes,
Yep.
another good run by Chuck Dixon. Robin.
Tim Drake Robin.
Series.
Yeah, Tim Drake Robin. He wrote almost the entire original volume, the big, long, ongoing one that lasted for 183 issues. He wrote the first 100, came back briefly, then he got let go. He told me the reason why he left after his second, the reason why he left after his second one was so short, and this is what he told me. He got fired for the book.
Why?
He didn't say why. One of the two
Yeah.
times I've heard of where Rarely got fired from the title for no reason. The other was Kyle Higgins on Deathstroke. He got fired from Deathstroke and he got replaced by Rob Liefeld.
Fuck.
It was New 52 run for. It was the first New 52 Deathstroke book. The one.
Oh yeah, that train wreck. Now I remember. God, that's
Yep.
bad.
He got fired from that book. I asked him about it. He told me he got fired.
But thank you for that trivia, Nick. We learn something new every time I have you on the show. But more
It's
important,
always good to meet the creators, and you get to, and they'll answer all your questions.
indeed.
I asked them
indeed.
this, and they will answer it.
Don't forget the poll, Jay. You remember the poll you said for the review?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that, Movie Theater King. The poll was deadlocked between Soul Eater, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Dragon Ball GT.
What? Wait. Wasn't there one more thing with Dragon Ball Super Ill?
Yeah. Oh no. That was for Dynamic Trio. That's a separate thing, Tevia.
Oh, all right. Can't wait for that one. Look at that movie.
This is my favorite thing, Jay Heath. I actually own GT on DVD.
Nice.
I got it from where they have all 64 episodes. I think they have one of the movies. I think the show had like one movie. I think it's on there too. But it's all 64 episodes.
Which it was, at least in the sub, is not bad. The sub is definitely better than the dub because I don't know what they were doing with the dub. Like, Jesus Christ.
I didn't sub for that one, but I at least got handed to some characters who actually acted like they're appropriate. It was supposed to be like Vegeta. Well, I could tell it's sad, but basically no one does Vegeta. Piccolo, Sean Schimmel as Goku, everybody's virtually like I can't think of anybody who acted differently than they're supposed to be. It's
No,
probably
GT
some
was-
other characters, but I think the main characters were fine.
Go
Yeah, the
on,
biggest-
that's good. My favorite character. Yeah.
But in GT, it was just Goku time, or at least that's as memed as Goku time, to where Goku hogs a lot of the spotlight. And the
Yeah.
reason that was done was because it's a narrative bookend to the mystical adventure. A lot of people got exposed to Dragon Ball Z.
Not Dragon Ball itself.
Which, according to Sean Schimmel, he told me this that they were dubbing Z first. They got about 60 episodes in, and then they went back and he went back and dubbed that last arc for Dragon Ball, where the first time we saw Adult Goku. They did that after he did the first 60 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Then he went back and he did more afterwards, even dubbed the movies as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what Sean Schimmel told me about it. And he also mentioned that for Shaman King, the reboot series, he was on it for 13 episodes. And he quit because the producers were dicks to him.
Of
That's what
course.
he told me.
Woman of course. Assholes.
Yeah. So that's the reason why he wasn't there for the entire series. So they didn't fire him. He quit. So
I don't blame him on that one. I'm on his side. I'm on his side. But yeah, vouch you,
Yeah.
my scumbag. Fuck him.
Yeah. I've also asked about Ty Eppercorn about what happened with Toriko. Why the dub
I
wasn't
don't know what
finished.
that is. Sorry.
Toriko, it's a food anime where the
Never
character
heard of it.
he's like Goku, except he's got blue hair, wears orange jumpsuit. He's like what they call him, like one of the four heavenly kings. You have him, his four friends.
Didn't they
Right
do an
before
OVA with him in One Piece a few years back?
Yeah, and they actually released the dub for the One Piece half, and I think recently they just announced they're doing the Toriko half for the cross between One Piece, Toriko, and Dragon Ball Z.
Wait,
They
what?
released Toriko half.
How did that even
What-
make
what-
sense?
Tevia, it's an OVA. It doesn't have to make sense.
Technically, it was an episode from the series.
Oh,
Like,
I thought it was just an OVA.
How stupid did it cross over with another character?
Yeah, because prior to this, the 3 times Toriko crossed over with One Piece, Funimation skipped the dub because they didn't have license to it. And according to Todd Heppercorn, who was one of the voice actors, I did ask him this: why did the dub stop for Toriko? The reason? Low DVD sales. That was the reason why.
Figures.
hey, at the end of the day, it's a business. But
Yeah.
So
Back
if
to our
you're
main-
saying, like his comic creators, if you want to know about the anime, ask the voice actors; they might know.
Yep.
maybe. But back to our main topic, and I did want to cover this in a separate video specifically, but I want you guys' thoughts on it. Do you think Naruto failed from taking Kawaki and onwards, which helped culminate where we are now in the series?
Possibly.
I don't know.
Like, in what ways would you say like Naruto failed? Like projecting too much of his experience as a Jinchuriki onto Kawaki, letting Kawaki reside in the village, taking him in at all, not training enough.
Maybe not trained
Probably
enough.
spend more time with him. But the thing is, he's Hokage. He doesn't have much time. But he was trying to make more time for his family after the attack they had in the movie. He was trying to, because he had so much paperwork he had to go through, and it was a recurring joke in the anime. Like every time we saw Naruto's office, there's mountains of paperwork all over the place.
How did he become a Kage then if he had to deal with the stress?
Because you're not in times of war or conflict, which means you have delegations, you have to interact with the other nations, basically
yeah.
day-to-day management.
Yeah, and the only reason I became Hokage, 1, because he wanted it, and 2, he earned respect in the village, and 3, he was recommended. Even though they say in the show, but I'm sure Kakashi recommended for the job, and plus also it was suggested by Tsunade, like Kakashi, because Kakashi, he was appointed to be a Hokage, but before he take the role, Tsunade came back to resume the role as Fifth Hokage, and then after the war, she steps down. Kakashi becomes Hokage, but not officially yet. But he does. He's basically not fully assumed the role yet for a year, but he's next Hokage.
And that's because he was come. Go ahead, movie theater king.
The reason Tsunade left was because of the whole trauma from the war and realizing she was just generally too old for this. Like, After
Two of
almost being killed, living her dream life, and just coming back to the real world, I think all that really took a toll. And the novel went into detail how she went back into her old habits of becoming a drunkard and gambling way too much
Oh, yeah.
to where she was almost destroying herself. It got to a point where even Naruto was demanding she step down because she was destroying herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Kakashi became Hokage, and he was Hokage for quite some. I think he was Hokage for like 10 years.
7 years. 7 years.
Because I think that Naruto became Hokage when he was in his late 20s.
Yeah, because the average Kage, if we're taking Hiruzen and Hachiyama to account, the average Hokage tenure is about 9 years.
Yeah,
Which
except
is with the old man who got killed by Orochimaru.
Wait,
No.
Hiruzen Sarutobi wasn't he Hokage for like over 2 decades, I believe?
He had
Yeah.
2 separate terms. He had his first 9 years,
combined, but it was like 50
18.
years because he assumed he was 18, which was the youngest Hokage to date. He
Mhm.
stepped down. He was already an old man by the time he stepped down. He was probably you look him in the flashback. He must have been probably in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
And then Minato take over. He's only Hokage for what, about 4 or 5 years. Then
I think
he died.
Minato was only Hokage
He
for
got
a
killed
year.
by Orochimaru. Orochimaru killed him.
No, not Minato. Minato was killed by Ninetales.
Yeah, but he was only Hokage for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. No, I'm thinking of it's one not doing another series who got Taman Senden yet by Orochimaru.
This is explaining
The third
shipping.
Hokage was killed by the Reaper Death Seal, trying to seal both the first and second Hokage, along with Orochimaru. But Orochimaru stabbed him using
Before he
his
could finish
magic
it.
sword. Yeah, but then he
Yep.
only took his arms.
No, he took his hands.
Well,
He
actually, his arms.
he took his ability to make jutsu.
Yeah, through his
Ah.
arms.
Yeah,
Through his
guys.
arms.
And Orochimaru did kill the Kazekage. That's probably why you're confused, Tevia. The Kazekage is the leader of the Sand, and Orochimaru had killed him prior to the beginning of the Konoha Crush arc.
Which
Yes.
is something that Gaara, when I'm surprised Gaara didn't punch him for killing his father.
That was his father?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Kazekage is a monarch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing was, I would say Gaara was never close with his father at all because the fact he tried to kill him because of the Jurjik in his body. I would say Kankuro and Tamari were more close with their father than Gaara was. Gaara probably was upset, but he probably wouldn't be. I would think that one person probably hitting him, probably being the crap is probably Tamari.
True.
Yeah, because she had the deepest bond. Because she was the oldest. She understood the situation more than Gaara and Kankuro ever could. And it's just the politics of the situation. She might not condone what the Kazekage did, but she understands it.
But Gaara, like Naruto, had like a demon inside him, same with Nante's Fox.
Does anyone think the tailed beasts were retconned from part 1?
To an extent. To an extent.
Again,
Not really per se. They were there, but they only confirmed 2 of them in part 1. They confirmed Shikaku was the one tail, and Kurama, which they didn't name until part 2, it was a 9 tails. The other ones didn't pop up until part 2.
If you go back and factor everything, Shikaku is basically the weakest out of the tailed beast. So Naruto was already going to win this fight regardless.
I mean, they were retconned to be the children of the Sage of the Six Paths.
Yeah, and also the fact that Shikaku is the only one who can manifest outside of the body. Gaara's body, despite the fact he's still being in it.
Because Gaara didn't have as strong of a willpower compared to the other Jinchurikis. He was young, he was burdened, he was arguably schizophrenic.
And also the fact that Shikaku threatened to kill him if he fell asleep, because every time he saw Gaara, he had black circles over his eyes.
Yep.
Even when he got older, he had the black circles over his eyes. I would think, though, that even when Shikaku had his body, he would sleep well enough. Like, there's one episode, I think, of Shippuden, and they actually show him sleep. They actually show him wake up out of bed. And the black circle's still there. My guess is the animators probably kept it in because it's part of his character to have black circles over his eyes.
Yeah.
By the way, there's one thing I do want to screen share for a second, and I think it was in this. And while it was human news, we got that thing I didn't have it all together. This that they were not today.
Okay, the Ultimate Universe and where Peter and MJ are together. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Tevia.
Well, yeah, it's actually a variant cover.
Oh,
Just
very
in time
cool.
for Valentine's
Yes,
Day.
Campbell.
Yeah, but this has not been released yet.
Not
Yeah.
officially, Tevia.
Anyone excited for 6160's X-Men? The Ultimate X-Men?
Potentially,
I
it has
think it's a series.
potential. But
It's
back to the
interesting, though,
main.
I find interesting Hickman is right in the Ultimate Universe. In fact, well, he has experience. When I first heard he was doing Ultimate Universe, like, okay, we have somebody who does have experience because he did write Ultimate Comics Ultimates. He wrote the first year of that book before handing off to Nick Spencer.
Yep.
It
Who
was
did
the
pretty
run
good.
that came after-
One at a time. Nick, if you please.
It was the run that came after Death of Spider-Man.
Wait, what?
Yes, because in Ultimate's death, Peter Parker was killed off, presumably. Miles Morales became the main Spider-Man, and then through cloning or retcon shenanigans, Peter came back and gave Miles his blessing.
And also, it had the second highest number of issues published for that line before it got restarted because of
Secret Wars.
Cataclysm.
Oh, yeah.
The one where Galactus showed up in the Ultimate Universe.
Yep,
Which that only happened because of Age of Ultron.
But on Age of Ultron, tell me, man. Kind of a good story. I know I tagged with him. But Age of Ultron? That time episode, all the time, garbage. Super Spider-Man is crap. Garbage.
A topic for a different stream, Tevia. But
Yeah.
back to our
previous. That Cataclysm happened like almost 10 years ago.
Really, yeah, almost 10 years in a couple of months. Like
That time first.
Yeah, because I think it happened
2014.
2014.
Yeah, 2014. Because
That's
Death of
2012.
Spider-Man happened in 2011, I think it
Yep.
was.
Yes.
And Ultimatum, the worst crossover that was, happened in 2009.
It sucked.
Hey, Jay Heat.
Which, of course, I have asked David Finch about that one. And he does remember doing it. And according to him, Jeff Loeb did not care about the criticism. He just did it because he was told to do it. The criticism didn't bother him at all. And I never asked Loeb this when I finally met him, but I never asked him about this. But according to David Finch, the artist of that book, he said Jeff Loeb did not care about the criticism at all. He just did it because he was told to.
Why would he like that? Oh.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But moving to your king, you were saying?
I was about to say, Jay Heat, you should do a stream about who should be on the new X-Men and Avengers roster for Earth 6160.
If you're going to bring the Ultimates back, I mean, keeping the classic roster is fine. But I really would just go around for them to do their own thing. Don't try to ride off nostalgia. At least that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that the Black Panther is getting a book under this line, given the fact he had a book in 616.
I could definitely see this boost. I'm sorry. I could definitely see this boosting Spider-Man because the Zeb Wells run.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
But even more so.
This is better.
Spider-Boy?
Yeah, I didn't like that one. The Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider-Man run. You read it and compare it to Zeb Wells' run. This book is a lot better.
That's true.
Because I'll give you that.
Doesn't write characters. Doesn't have John Romita doing the artwork. It has Mark Bagley in the artwork. I felt that this was a much better book to read than Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells.
True.
I'll give you that. I wouldn't even call Zeb Wells' run a shelf title. That's just spite by the editorial staff.
Why? Because Nick Spencer.
Repeat that last part, Nick.
Is because Nick Spencer left for Substack.
Yep.
Yes.
I've also heard stuff where apparently that because of his run, Zeb Wells couldn't go to the Comic Cons.
Yeah, because fans were going to rip him apart.
I guess Zeb Wells doesn't write well. Zeb Wells does not write
Zeb Wells
well.
didn't deserve this, man. Honestly, I've actually seen. Let me cook, Tevia. Let me cook. I've actually seen some of Zebulon's run. He did not deserve to take the rap for the editorial spite over Nick Spencer leaving. He did not deserve this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But he
people,
needed the paycheck. Go ahead, Nick.
I've also heard people are begging him to get off the title.
Yep.
Just drop the title, man. At least then you'll have some dignity. Just sometimes it's best to call it quits.
Here's my bad step ups. And I know. I did talk to him before last year, and I wish I talked to him earlier. I just can't put it with the love you, and I don't want to see. But Zebulon, you're a nice guy, and I can be a nice guy. But please get off ASM. You don't deserve any of this hate because your run. It's not funny. It's not a good story. Let's have a terrible kid. I don't give a damn, man. The main game is going insane, but that's been pissed me off so much. And the book's been horrible. Just abandon ship after getting war. Read this book. Well, you don't deserve any shit. Let some other writer take away this one old jealousy. Let the book die. Because Ultimate is a last chance for the book to be that book anything I've ever seen. Ultimate is a last chance. Ultimate succeed and sell quick. Mail by tell Paul to F off and let Whisper get married again and make you wish. Do I do that the pipe dream? Yes. But at this point, I need something to make me happy. Instead of the middle time to seven.
Thank you for that heartfelt platitude, Tevia.
You're welcome.
But back to our main topic. Hiruzen, if you're counting both terms, Hiruzen was Hokage for at least 40 years. Because let's say in the flashback where Tobirama sacrifices himself and gets the Gold and Silver brothers, let's say for the sake of argument, Hiruzen was about 18 to 20. He goes for the remainder of the Second Great Ninja War, starts the Third Great Ninja War as at least one of the catalysts that sets that off, and then steps down once the Third Great Ninja War concludes. Minato takes over as fourth Hokage for about a year prior to the Nine Tails attack. From that alone, you can make the argument that Hiruzen really had two turns because he was Hokage for a decade and a half through two Shinobi Wars back to back.
I mean, it's stated. People have a general consensus of Hiruzen's term being between 40 and 43 years. Because
roughly around that time, at least 40. I'll tell you that right now, at least 40.
But at max 43.
Don't you have a time travel movie of Naruto go back in time and meets his father?
Because
There's
he
two.
died at age 69.
There was only one time travel movie and one time travel story arc in the show.
Wait.
And Boruto. There was one time travel arc.
It was the time slip arc.
I heard it was originally going to be a movie, but they cut it down to an arc due to production constraints.
But the arc was good.
Yeah.
What did the time slip arc tell?
It's
basically
one of the surviving aliens, the Rishiki, the one who was cut from the movie. Rishiki, the one who was originally going to be in the Boruto movie, but was cut due to time and was put in the show. They brought him back, and like he been recurring villain at that point. Prior to that, and then of course he went time travel back in time when Naruto was younger to kill him.
I think steal the Nine Tails before Naruto could master its power, but it still would have killed him. I'll agree with that.
And it was basically Boruto and Sasuke following him back in time. And Sasuke was doing his best to make sure no one actually saw his face, because at this point, Sasuke is with Orochimaru.
So basically,
that did happen.
So basically, the time slip arc takes place during the over 80 plus episodes of filler between part one and Naruto, between the latter half of part one and Naruto and Jiraiya leaving the village to set up for the time skip.
Yep.
Wait.
So you could.
Oh, sorry.
So it's going to take place during that 3-month time skip, because I think in the manga they mentioned it was 3 months between Sasuke retrieval arc and when they left.
Yes, officially in the manga it was a 3-month time skip, but the anime made like 80 episodes out of that.
To fill in that gap, because they figured that, okay, let's have basically 80 episodes take place during this gap, and you can basically fit this story arc in there,
and nothing would change because the arc itself takes place within the span of a few days.
Mm-hmm.
What then? Okay. You walked through the villain stuff and stuff, but you said
Sasuke uses the Sharingan to wipe everyone's memory at the end.
No.
Affected by
That's fine.
The two who were mainly affected by was Naruto himself and Jiraiya. Everyone else basically if you watch the arc, they didn't interact with him very much. So it was mostly just Naruto and Jiraiya.
Except you might argue Hinata due to maternal instinct because Boruto resembles his father so much, but that's subtext, and you could easily say that Sasuke used the Sharingan on her off screen.
Just be glad that Bart didn't bring Himawari with him because if Nana saw her, she can easily figure out the fact that Naruto's the father because of whiskers.
That and they look just like their parents. Like if you put them in a side by side between their kid designs, they're literally the spitting image of their parents.
That's true. But okay.
Which two things related to that. Number one, Japanese anime love doing this with offspring. And two, this actually can happen in real life where the offspring can look like the spitting image of their parents.
That's true.
Don't offspring generally look like their parents, though?
There's at least a similarity. There's at least a general resemblance.
Yeah, I actually know somebody from my church where their son looks exactly like the father, like spitting image of him, except it looks like a younger version of him.
It's basically the mini-me effect. That's basically what we're trying to explain.
Yeah, that's what my sister is with my niece, where she looks exactly like her mom. My 3-year-old niece.
But as we were saying, you could, although officially Hiruzen had 2 terms as Hokage, if you do the math, you could argue he had 3, if not 4. Because as we were saying earlier when you stepped out, Nick, he took over for Tobirama when he sacrificed himself against the Gold and Silver brothers, led through and instigated the Second and Third Shinobi World Wars respectively, and then stepped down for a year with Minato, and then took over for about another 12 years, leading to the beginning of the main series. Mm-hmm. If you add that up, that's 40 to 43 years.
Yeah, and it's similar situation the way it was in real life, where documentary saw where when FDR was president as long as he was, for some people he was the only president they knew of. It's similar. It's like Kishima took inspiration from FDR for that one. Even though that the third Hokage was in office longer than FDR was. FDR was 12 years, and of course, the third Hokage was combined 40 years.
Combined. And I believe, Tsunade, if you're factoring most of tail end of part 1, halfway through part 1, all of Shippuden, and about 1 year after the war, while Kakashi was coming to terms with no longer being called Kakashi the Sharingan for obviously losing his Sharingan. So if you factor that, that's about 7 years right there. That's not a full 9. That's about 7.
Because I think they mentioned between Shippuden, Naruto and Shippuden, it's like 2.5 years.
But it's
and she became Hokage not long after the Chunin exams, the first one they had the show.
Not long after. It was the Princess Retrieval arc, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Hashirama had every bit 20 years. Tobirama had about 9 to 10. He had 1 term. Hiruzen had a combined reign of 40 years, 40 plus years. Tsunade had about 7. Kakashi had 7 to 9.
I think Naruto's been in charge about 5 or 6.
And then Naruto's been in charge for about 5 to 6. And then now Shikamaru is the interim 8th Hokage, and he's had about 3.
Yep.
That seems like a very short timetable.
Because most Kage usually die in office.
Yeah. One thing the show tends to mention, I think, is kind of, I don't know if it's a part. Now, I'm not blaming the suburbs for this. Oh, Movie King left. So they keep mentioning the show that it's been 10 years since the war, even though it's been 15.
By the time Momoshiki arc, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super did the same thing where they show you like a few introductory episodes, and then they have about a 3 to 5 year time skip.
The war, that means obviously the Fourth Ninja War. That's what they can bring up a lot in the show. And they also mention, like in the opening arc of the series, Baruto's like, the village was attacked. You watch the main series? No, it wasn't. It was not attacked at all.
That might be a reference to. There might be a reference to one of the novels where the village was attacked by that blood jutsu caster, but that was more of a small skirmish than anything.
Yeah, not what they show in the anime. That was like a big retcon.
What did you?
Basically, there was a special clan that knew it, basically like Katara and the Bloodbenders from Atla, where they could manipulate blood in the human body. And they were a rival clan that was taken out by the Uchiha decades ago. It's all
Wait.
good, movie theater king.
That sounds familiar. That reminds me more and more. Kind of Avatar, yeah, but I think I made it with kind of with vampires. The kind of Netflix series. I'm referring to.
Okay. But now where was I? Oh yeah. But again, that could have, I don't know if that was a retcon or a mistranslation, but the way I interpreted it, it was just the fact that Boruto entered the academy when he was about 7 or 8. And then by the time we get to the Momoshiki arc, it's officially been 15 years leading to the events of the movie. At least that's how I always interpret
What
it.
movie?
Boruto Naruto the movie or the Momoshiki arc.
Yeah, they actually adapted that for the main series.
Oh yeah, the first arc of the series. I did watch that.
Yeah, it was like right after episode 50, I think it was. They
Yeah,
did that arc. It was like about 13 episodes, I think it was.
Episode 53 to 65.
Yeah, there was one episode of the arc where it was literally 5 minutes of the movie expanded for 23 minutes.
Kind of super when they did about the god dog and later.
It was the scene where Boruto throws off that gadget he wore in the movie,
and he gets exposed.
It was basically gnawing afterwards. It was like after the attack, and he's like angry. He throws thing on the ground. The whole scene in the movie is like 5 minutes, and this whole scene is expanded for 23 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, because they really wanted to set it up to where they actually portal to that dimension to set up the final battle. And this was episode 63, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and also that this whole story arc, even though it's after the movie, but it's based on Kishimoto's original script for the movie. They had to make changes for it because of time. That's when we got that third Eroski show up in the movie, in the arc.
Oh,
My
Dragon was doing Dragon Super, and it first story arcs, which are the story arc for the movies. Because Dragon Super did all the God first, and then I did the freaking movie. Yep. But similar to that, but with Boruto.
In the movie,
he gets exposed almost immediately in the movie.
Yeah. In the case of Super, when they adapted Battle of Gods, in the original movie, the God of Destruction is waking up from his nap. In the show, you see him already on their planet, awake, and he's like, "This food's good, half." And like half, I'll destroy half your planet.
Yeah,
and he does.
Yep.
There was some changes they made for that one. Resurrection had the biggest change they made is about Captain Ginyu. That's the only change they made. Because that arc got criticized. I heard it arc got criticized for not changing very much. A lot of people thought much bigger changes, but that
and poor animation.
Yeah, poor animation.
Fun fact: while those arcs were being syndicated, One Piece movie Gold was wrapping up. So a lot of C and D listers right out of art and animation school were working on that project.
Mm-hmm.
And animating those episodes.
I think the story was fine. It just the animation was not that good.
Trying to adapt that movie into a series with not a good idea in context.
Yeah, and the thing is, Gold, prior to me starting watching One Piece, that was the most recent one that came out. Since I'm watching One Piece, they've had released 2 movies. Stampede, which I've seen it, and I've had most of the cast sign it, and Red.
Yeah, Red about Red's daughter.
Yeah, Shank's daughter.
Yeah, Shank's daughter.
Red was okay.
Yeah, the character is canon, but here's the neat thing with the One Piece movies have something common with the Dragon Ball movies.
What?
They're somewhat set in their own continuity. They're not.
Yeah, they're not canon.
If My Hero, they are. My Hero, they're definitely canon.
I love My Hero. I'm glad it's canon.
Yeah, and for that one's canon. That Time of Crisis Slime, a series I love watching. Tib, you should watch it. The movie they had released earlier this year, that movie's canon.
Yeah. So you're not Slime. Yeah, we got Slime. That one.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch it, Sivia?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
No, the show.
Oh, that. No, I did not watch it.
Watch it. It's pure fun. especially get a chance to hear some familiar DBZ actors like Mr. Satan voices a dragon.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's in the show. I actually have met the woman who voices Rimuru, and she told me to go see it.
Nice.
And I
Well,
saw it. And I'm like,
I watched that
wow,
movie.
this is-
I thought
One
it
at a
was
time,
so
gentlemen.
long and confused. So,
Yeah, the movie's a lot of fun. I met a couple people aside from her. I have met officially 2 other people working the show. One who voiced one of the Demon Lords, and one of those kids that pop up later on. And if you watch the show, there's these group of kids who are one of the character's students. I met one of their voice actors, and I've also met. They also have a mod prop on the show who's a pivotal character in season 2. I met her voice actor as well.
nice.
Yep, so I'm a handful of people working the show. It's only 48 episodes. It's on Crunchyroll and it's all dubbed. Do you have a Crunchyroll subscription, have you?
No, my subscription ended after I think last month.
I think it's only like, I think I pay like $6 a month for that one.
But I will say
Yeah.
this much. I will say this much about if Naruto failed in his tenure and everything and leading into Boruto now. He made the best out of a bad situation. Against Jigen,
Yeah.
his hacks and abilities were a hard counter to his own and Sasuke's. Ishiki, he had no chance against. Baryon mode, Kurama directly lied to him saying that they would die together. They used it because Naruto never would have agreed to use the form otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, projecting him a lot of his experience as a Jinchuriki onto Kawaki and refusing to kill Boruto and thus ending the threat of Momoshiki. Those are the 2 aspects of L's or failure he is guilty of specifically.
Yeah.
One is due to the vanity of his own experiences and the parallels between the 2, and the other is just a father trying to protect his son. Like, no one's really going to fault Naruto for the latter.
One perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think before you mentioned what happened, the reason why the Reddit got replaced in the Boruto manga when this happened, I think it was popular fan theory. The reason why Kishimoto came back was because he was to kill off Naruto, and Kishimoto was probably not going to let that happen because he spent 15 years creating and developing that character. He was not going to let him get killed off at all. So that's a popular fan theory, but what you said probably makes a little more sense than the fan theory. The reason why Kishimoto came back.
Definitely business-wise. Definitely business-wise, because a lot of people gave Boruto a hard time. It's not because it was still coping from Naruto Shippuden recently ending. Then we got Naruto last, and then we cut straight to Boruto like almost a year later. Like
What's Naruto last? I'm confused.
Boruto last.
It was a
Go
movie
ahead, Nick.
released during Shippuden. It's a canon movie. Currently, it's one of 2 canon movies in the whole show because all the rest of movies are not necessarily canon. This one is set just at 2 years at the Fourth Ninja War. It is a movie that explores the romance of Naruto and Hinata. It's basically them falling in love for the first time. And also, there's this guy who wants to use the moon to crush against the planet because he thinks the world is corrupted. And his plan
Well, rather than harvesting a chakra fruit, he's just going to destroy the planet, be done with it, and he wants to take Hinata as his bride because I guess he's entitled to her because she's an Otsutsuki descendant or something.
Yes, because she's got the Byakugan.
What
And
is that all of this? Step off and his plan with the blow up the entire planet with meteor.
But I heard the novelization. I heard the novelization was better, but the movie definitely got a bad rap because you already killed off Neji. People were already reeling from that. So Neji was killed by a wood construct from the Ten Tails.
Yeah.
He was skewered through the chest, for lack of a better term.
That's dog death.
He ultimately did it to protect Naruto and Hinata. Naruto, who was kind of going through mental whiplash amidst the chaos of the battle, and Hinata dove herself in front of Naruto in an attempt to protect him.
That makes sense.
And the fact that Hinata had confessed her love already in the Pain arc before Pain nearly killed her, causing Naruto to lose control of the Nine Tails in his anger. So a lot of people would argue the last was redundant.
Yeah, it's even been a obsolete movie.
which looking very closely, I actually had the woman who voiced Naruto sign this, and this is her favorite movie, and for an movie that she's ever watched.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, of course. Since then, I've met two other people who worked on Naruto. I have met Kiba's voice actor, and 2 months ago, I met Choji's voice actor.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like I still maintain we should do a crossover with Super Chan and Naruto Boruto because that would be fun. But
Maybe a one-off video, maybe if I ever get fan requested for that. But I'll definitely
well,
put that in the
it's not
books.
just that. Right? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's
This
cool.
is signed by
That's
Choji's
fine.
voice actor. Which Tibia, if you're a TMNT fan, did you know he also voiced one of the live action turtles?
No, and I know about that. That's cool.
Do you want to know which one?
Raphael.
Michelangelo.
Nice. That's
Which
cool.
I also, speaking of turtles,
Oh, cool.
two of the voice actors. I got Raphael, I got Michelangelo, and Donatello signed this.
Cool.
Now, which would you say is better, TMNT 03 or Teen Titans 03?
Depends. I think that the 03 show, the first 4 seasons of the show are really good.
Yeah.
No denying that.
Yes.
Last 4 seasons, okay. Back to Sewer was actually one I actually got to watch when it aired. It wasn't terrible per se, but it was okay. It's just that I felt as though they just had to wrap it up because the ratings were slipping. It didn't
And
last
yeah.
as long.
Okay. Forgive my memory for a sec. But season 1 dealt with season 2 dealt with the clan, I think. Season 3 will be had to be a Ultron with computing, like what?
then we got a time travel story and fast forward. I believe that was season 5.
Yeah. And
future, everything is all futuristic.
Mm.
That one I don't think I did see, but the one see the one I did watch, the kind of a Last Learning before Last Learning with the thing. That was dark, a very dark story.
Yes, which they
But
One at a time, gentlemen. Nick.
Season 4 they aired after season 5 as the lost season for reasons unexplained. Because at the end of the season they set up this season and it's like next thing is fast forward. And people are like, if you were watching at the time, I wasn't watching at the time. I watched it later. Like, really? Like, you have this set up and you have a time travel thing next. We have these four Shredder bodyguards, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna unleash the real Shredder." Which, here's a fun fact: did you know these 4 Shredders are based on 4 Shredder clones from TMNT comic book from the original one?
Yeah, from the 90s. Yes.
I
highly recommend the original 90s TMNT comics, but let it be known they are dark.
Let me explain this with Jay.
Yeah.
The original 80s run, because the 90s run, there were overall basically what we got at IDW right now. This is currently the 5th TMNT book. You have the original 5 original creators, though they write the whole book, which lasted 64 issues, and they got relaunched on the Jim Lowson, which was published in color. And then Mirage, publishing it for some reason, went to Image, where Eric Larson wrote it, and it was black and white. This book is doing Sabbath Dragon. And this book was not, the reception of this book was not that good. I thought it was pretty decent. I didn't think it was terrible. And then Mirage got it back, published a 31-issue volume by Peter Laird. Kevin was not in the book. They have fallen out at this point. And the book was published inconsistently for 10 years.
What?
So to fill in that gap, we have the second volume of Tales of Teenage Ninja Turtles come out, which lasted more than this one did. And the book ended at a cliffhanger. And then 1 year later, we had the IDW run.
Which Black Comedy all destroyed and made a reboot.
Yeah, it's a complete reboot, which they integrate lots of previous continuities, like the Turtles Love for Pizza, April and Casey's romance, the
Yeah.
personalities. Lots of even they have more serious take on Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yep.
It's
Oh,
almost
wait,
like Tom
wait.
Waltz when we read that book. It's like he was a big TMT fan. He integrated all of the really good stuff of the previous stuff, like for the TV show, the movies, the previous comics, bring all that together in this reboot continuity, and it was good. First 100 issues of this book was fantastic. Not a
Yep.
bad issue.
I
And
think
then
you're
Tom
right.
Waltz left. And
Yeah,
so
but
they
speaking of
were-
turtles, I did see this though. Why
What
I
is-
did not leave the turtle comment? I did see we got a female turtle. Not Jenica. No, she appeared way after the Save I heard. But we got another female turtle, who actually was a human who brought the Foot Clan. And Leonardo or one turtle gave up a blood transfusion. Where it turned out to Indian turtle. I'm not joking, it did happen. I can actually try to find it.
For
Yeah.
years, they tried to make a fifth turtle work, but it's been hit or miss.
The only
Like, you re-
successful is Danica from IDW. She's been a success because originally she's human, turned into a turtle by a blood transfusion. And prior to this, the writers were hinting at a relationship between her and Casey Jones, but that went nowhere. And now she's in a lesbian relationship with one of her bandmates because she's become a rock star for some reason on Stephanie Campbell's run. It's weird. Also, the Turtles wear shorts now during this era.
Yeah, I found her. Yeah.
Oh, and Venus does exist because Venus was from the Next Mutation series,
Yes.
except that she is smaller and it's there she is. That's her.
She is cyborg.
Yeah, that's Venus, but she's not the first female turtle. That's Jenica. Yeah, she's not around very long. She's on for a few issues and she's gone. It's like basically Stephanie Camp probably threw her in because, well, people don't like Venus very much, so throw her in because people like it. So, and Jenica basically is more successful than she is. At least Jenica got 2 books for her.
Yeah, she makes sense. Man, why they got cyborg? I don't get that one at all. What?
They threw this in as a Easter egg for the expectation. That's the only reason why.
Oh, that's sad, depressing.
And I kind of made her like more like a Frankenstein's monster
This guy
type
Frankenstein.
situation.
Yeah,
That was right.
they did not much with her. And here's my sheer coincidence. Not long after her introduction, we had the Armageddon game.
I'm a gay.
Yep.
Which was a storyline that involved the main villain being the Rat King and him
Yep.
playing a big role and Shredder being on the side of the Turtles, which I thought that was different. And according to when the artist working on the book, he told me this. That arc was Tom Waltz's exit from the series because Tom Waltz, from what I read, became a consultant after issue 100. He stopped writing the book. This is his last story he wanted to do, and then he left. Kevin Eastman's still on the book, but Tom Walt's not there anymore.
Was Armageddon a good story? Or was
It was okay. It was okay.
Here's the thing: it had like 8 issues of the main book. It had the miniseries and a tiny miniseries.
right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of all over the place. It was really all over
Yeah.
the place.
Damn.
Yeah, and at times they're releasing these stuff out of order. It's like I think IDW was trying to give TMNT their own crossover. They were trying to. This is the first time they ever did one like this. Instead of being, a big event for the main book, let's spread out for 2 miniseries because we want to copy something from Marvel and DC. And turned out okay. Book was released on time.
Yeah, that's
as soon as this book wrapped up,
One at a time. Nick.
and it seems like right after this crossover, we're open to do more crossovers with other books because I think they just recently wrapped up the crossover with Stranger Things and Street Fighter.
Yes.
Which
And before go ahead.
those 2 crossovers, I mean, Street Fighter, okay, fine. Stranger Things was a very odd choice for a crossover.
It makes sense, but it's in the 80s.
One crossover I really would love to see happen. The Turtles team up with Bendis's volume of New Avengers.
Yeah.
Where it had Daredevil on the team.
I could see it. I could see
No,
it.
no,
I
I
get the
just
vision.
I would have the line they had just prior to Luke Cage leaving the roster. You have Luke Cage, Iron Fist. If you want Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, fine, do that. Spider-Man, Daredevil, that lineup. I want that lineup teaming up with the Turtles because these guys will interact great with them. Like of all of them, Donatello, Spider-Man.
Yep.
In the case of Daredevil, I'm not sure who he would interact with the four Turtles. Who do you think he interact with?
Oh, I know. Ditto, Elektra, maybe bring Echo, maybe bring her in because she's a Ditto character.
Yeah.
And
Let's bend this lineup. Who would you like to see of the four Turtles? Because basically Spider-Man, Donatello, because both science geeks.
yep.
Iron Fist, probably Splinter. But what about Daredevil? Who would he interact with of all those Turtles? Would it be?
I would say
Raphael?
Leonardo. I would say Leonardo.
Raphael.
All Daredevil would do is just critique Raphael about his anger, like and how ill-tempered he is.
Mhm.
I feel like he would parallel Leo more, or at least he would have a better dynamic with him.
Yeah. In the case of Carol, I would have her interact with April O'Neil.
I mean, you kind of
Not
have
because
to.
of ladies, because basically it would make the most sense.
Yeah, maybe April can give Carol a good what for, but how not to be a condescending pain in the ass.
And have Luke Cage interact with Casey Jones.
You got to. You got to.
Because they're both Street Fighters. Get it? Street Fighters. They both
Hey, you want to throw? Might as well throw Ryu in while you're at it.
Yeah. Trying to think who else was on that lineup. This is of course prior to AVX. Have that lineup. Trying to think. Jessica Jones on the team too. She
Briefly.
can probably
Briefly.
She was part of the roster. As Power Woman. You can have her interact with April as well, and April will basically be just oohing all over. Basically, be just gushing all over Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' daughter.
Ah.
Yeah,
but
this I think this would be interesting, but knowing Marvel, this probably won't happen because
Marvel would ever screw it up. Actually, no wait. I guess I ain't better. Steven Ninja with Spider-Man, Mania Parker, and Super Sons combined in one.
Too much license distribution, man.
Yeah,
It's kind
I
of
think
a
in the
pipe
case
dream.
of artwork, I would have Kevin Eastman do the artwork.
Yep.
Because I would
can
love
see
to
that.
see. I would love to see his art style. How we handle Daredevil. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious on that as well.
It last Gordon crossover I think with
writer?
29.
One at a time, Nick.
The writer, I don't know if Bendis would do it per se. He could do it, but he's busy. Trying to think.
Hickman.
Who's a good writer at this team?
Tomasi?
Well, it has to be somebody over Marvel. Because Hickman might be a good choice. Because he has experience writing the Avengers.
Yeah.
Of the Avengers, I think the only one he has experience writing, I think, is Spider-Man.
Is Claremont still writing for Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
He's still writing
Get
Marvel.
back to Marvel.
He's writing
He's good for this.
Okay.
Especially since he has written for DC before.
Okay.
Yes.
He did an arc for JLA with his Uncanny X-Men artist, John Byrne, which was a 6-part backdoor pilot to a Doom Patrol book.
Yes.
It didn't go anywhere, did it?
Which that book got canceled. The 18 issue due to low sales.
Of course.
Yeah, this run was for Infamous, Bob read due to John Byrne's retcons. Where I said, this was the only Doom Patrol team. They just showed up, despite that they bounced the 60s.
That makes no sense.
Fixed that by basically saying, no, that is bullcrap, and basically undid all of his retcons, but kept that team canon.
But didn't he also introduce Mala and the Brain having a relationship, or did I just miss?
I think that Grant Morrison did that.
Yeah, Grant Morrison did that.
Okay,
Grant
thank you.
Also the one who introduced the idea of the chief being a jerk and be the person responsible for the accidents that created Doom Patrol.
Yep. We got to love the show itself.
Yep.
I love that show. I'm sad it's over.
Along with Titans just ended too.
Yeah. Good riddance. Good riddance. Good riddance.
Smash Sense is infamous for that, having Dick saying F Batman in the trailer.
And I'm like, y'all just trying too hard. Now, nothing against the actors, though, but in terms of the showrunners, y'all just trying too hard.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird to have Dick Grayson in the show, fine. But why would you have him start as Robin when he's an adult? When he started as Nightwing?
Yeah, but they were trying to build up to Nightwing. I feel like they were trying to go with an adolescent type feel, like when Grayson's transitioning into Nightwing.
Yeah, that was the plan machine too. and she doing that and becoming Nightwing.
And
See
speaking
it
of Teen
the way
Titans
those
03,
red-
they did it better. Teen Titans
Yeah.
03 did this a million times better. And I'm not saying out of nostalgia. The Secret Origins episode, Grayson having a lot to prove, overcompensating, barking at his team a lot, getting in fights and friction. And for the most part, Grayson has a point in a lot of these cases. The only thing you could really argue Grayson is wrong in is how he treats Cyborg in terms of his limitations
Yep.
and his crush with Starfire. That's it. Both
Yeah, which
instances.
in the Marv Wolf and George Perez one, it took him 2 years to accept his feelings for Starfire because it was written in the book that the reason why he was very hesitant in a relationship with Starfire, read the book, that he had just got a relationship with a different girl. I think he was dating some police chief's
I know it
daughter.
wasn't Barbara. I know it wasn't
Barbara.
Barbara.
Some other police chief's daughter from because he dropped out of college.
Oh.
It was his backup feature run he had for detective. And that family that was dropped because of this run. So, and also this something happened Outsiders where Geoforce was crushing on Katana.
Was it before you would find out tell that it was psychopath?
That's much later. That's relatively recently in Shadow War. All you need to know about that is the fact that Geoforce wants revenge on Deathstroke for the grooming of Terra Markov, as well as revenge on the Al Ghuls for the destruction of Markovia during Event Leviathan.
Yep.
Even though that one,
that
was more short fault.
Story. I at least got Hannah Williamson for that because he was the correct choice for that.
Yeah.
What, Geoforce is the main villain?
No, Joshua Williamson on the book.
Yeah. Which I actually own the copy of that, and I love that story. I think he did a great job with the book. Sad that basically that book was his exit from Deathstroke Incorporated.
Pretty much.
That book was good. My gosh, this book was freaking good.
Shadow War event, it was fine. It's just I don't like the way they give away the villain. Like, wait, what? This is Deathstroke? This guy? Why?
One thing at least appreciate Williamson he did is that he likes. Some writers don't do this very much. He does set some stuff up for later stuff. Like Shadow War, he had built for that. And Dark Crisis, he had built for that too. Even Dark Crisis was disappointing, but at least he had built up for it.
Yeah. I argued he was Dark Crisis and what editorial was trying to do. It was just too big of an assignment for him. That's my
bad idea from day one.
Yeah, and also calling Dark Crisis Infinite Earths was
didn't do you any favors.
It was basically editorial having nostalgia for the original classic series in the 80s.
Also, the main villain Dark Friday was not Pariah. Wait, what? You're telling me Pariah?
Yeah.
The Great Darkness? But
Tevia, we'll explain it. Pariah caused it by tapping into powers in the universe he didn't fully understand, which caused a chain reaction, which woke up the Anti-Monitor. In Dark Crisis, Pariah just goes insane.
Yes.
Which is so stupid, but they make all that out the window.
Thing when it comes to Dark
Go ahead,
Crisis,
Nick.
Because Dark Crisis was originally a concept story from League of Superheroes, which turned out to be Dark Side in the future.
Yeah.
Here it's a
Great Darkness Saga.
Yeah, great story, by the way. I reviewed it. It's an awesome story. I
highly
believe,
recommend it.
I think Keith Giffen wrote that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure Keith Giffen wrote that. The rest
Yeah,
of
the sequel
for League of Superheroes.
Okay.
Because when it comes to League of Superheroes, these primary writers you can definitely say are the best writers for that book. Jim Shooter, because his career started with that book.
Yep.
Paul Levitz, Keith Giffen.
Jeff
I
Johns.
would wait a little bit because he read the book. He had a good run with the book too. And that's it. Bendis had, I know Tim, I know you didn't like that run, but I actually liked that run. I didn't think it was as good as the other books were, but that was a pretty decent run.
Wait, are we talking about the run where with Saturn Girl and which run we're talking about?
John. I thought it was a pretty decent book. I thought it was weird they made RJ Brandel a woman in that book because normally that's been a guy. RJ Brandel, those of you not familiar with League of Superheroes lore, RJ Brandel was the financer of the League of Superheroes because the founding three members, Saturn Girl, Colossal Boy, and at the time, Lightning Boy, later named Lightning Lad, saved his life. And RJ Brandel was the richest man in the galaxy.
Yep.
So he
And
sponsored them.
yep, he was the financial backer. He financed the whole team.
Yep.
And at one point, he became president of the United Federation of Plants, the United Plants, which of course they brought into present day because that was Bendis who did that. Yeah, he brought that. That was one thing I thought was fine. I didn't have an issue with Jay. Would you have an issue with him bringing Bendis bringing the plants government to present day?
As a concept, no, because they do that. There is a foundation. There is a stepping stone to where you see them how they operate 1,000 years in the future. I have no problem with that.
But him bringing in
I follow it.
put it have happen Superman, that did make sense because of the connection to Superman. That was
It was garbage. It made no sense. It just drove me insane because it just was very awful to send AF Trump. No big man.
The Rogals, Tevia, the Rogals art stuff did carry a lot of baggage. No one's gonna refute that. But as a concept, tying Superman to the Legion was spot on.
John Superman, yeah. Superboy? No, not for John. He should not be on that team.
Connor was on the team too.
Tevia, I'm gonna mute you until you calm down.
Yeah, Connor was on the
Okay,
team
now.
too, very briefly. He was on the team in the early 2000s.
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
But I'm bringing John.
So having John part of the team is fine because it's a legacy concept, like father, like son.
Like son.
The problem is age of a B.S. Williams.
Wait, didn't they
Yeah,
call
also-
Damian? Didn't Damian Wayne cameo and they called him Baby Hitler in one issue?
Yes. That
Yeah, I didn't understand why he had. I think the reason why I put in the book because he was curious what happened to his best friend.
Not
Because still as an
exactly.
adult, Damien considers John to be his best friend.
Sure.
I believe.
Yeah.
Now, please correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure this was to tie into 5G how Damian ultimately becomes a villain, and it leads to a lot of It's essentially Damian Wayne's Magneto to John's Professor
Yes.
X.
Yep, that's right. That was in the 5G files from Green Cole.
Yeah, and now John is being a supporting character over in Action Comics right now because his miniseries wrapped up.
His ministry was garbage. It was a waste of time.
The first 3 issues were really good, and
Yeah.
then the concept that basically drew into the series just
Was abandoned.
It fell apart.
because you had to have because you threw in Justice Superman in there and have him kill Ultraman, and I would not be surprised if it come back later on, because here's the thing: Ultraman was killed off by the Anti-Monitor in Darkseid War,
Yep.
Yes.
and this is explained. I think it wasn't Bendis who explained this. I think it was Scott Snyder explained this for Dark Knight Metal, one of the tie-ins, that the reason why they came back because the multiverse brought them back.
Yes, they're one of the few constants in the multiverse. Say Apocalypse
Yeah.
or Genesis. Earth
Yeah,
3 is because
so-
it's the natural. Yes.
Because bringing back Earth 3, that was not Bendis. Bendis did not do that. That was all Scott Snyder who did that. So you cannot blame Bendis for that.
But that makes no sense. You can invent a Superman one. We saw the continuity of it in this book.
Tevia, 1, cosmic multiverse shenanigans. And 2, if you have a parallel Earth where the heroes are villains and the villains are heroes, that's considered a natural opposite. So they're gonna carry over regardless.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they revived these heroes later on.
But then there's your Avenger Judges too. And Ben Judges is in the Crime Syndicate. Who not the Crime Syndicate, but Young Judges evil counterparts.
Yeah, and I know that Crime Syndicate did have a miniseries recently where they
Yeah,
brought
you
in where they created a universe version of Black Siren, a character from the Arrowverse,
Yep.
who was an evil
Yeah.
version of Black Canary, who became part of Robbie Thompson's Suicide Squad book, which that book was actually not that bad, except that it didn't feel like Suicide Squad. It wasn't terrible. It just didn't feel like traditional Suicide Squad that people know of. Because
Not to mention that
Deadshot,
Tevia.
like the people you think of for Suicide Squad were not there, with the exception of Waller and Flag. The only people who were there. Everyone else was not there because Deadshot was dead at this point. Harley Quinn was doing whatever. Captain Boomerang was off the team for some strange reason.
I think the only ones that were on there were Bloodsport, and it was basically synergy with the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn in 2018.
And Peacemaker.
Yes, Peacemaker was there too. They also brought in Nocturna from the Mark Endrick, a Batwoman run.
Yep.
Yep. Also, Content Shoot Boy. But not Content Shoot Boy.
That was Matrix. That was
no,
Matrix.
no, no.
Well, that was
Match.
actually Match.
Oh, Match. I thought he was called Matrix. My mistake.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Match.
it
That
was
was the clone of a clone. And they also threw in the book, William Cobb,
Talon.
The
Dick
Talon.
Grayson's great-grandfather, who's a Talon.
Yep.
Which I didn't have a problem with the lineup. It just didn't feel like Traditional Suicide Squad. That was like a problem with the book.
Did
Yeah,
Mirror Suicide
And
Squad.
it's surprising this book got axed after only 15 issues.
Because outside the future state stuff, it was mainly setting up Crisis on Earth 3. After that, there was nothing you could really do with that roster.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Oh, sorry.
And I tend to wonder, like, why wasn't Boomerang part of this roster? Because he wasn't dead. I get the fact Deadshot was dead when this book started, but where was where was Captain Boomerang and Bronze Tiger?
Mm.
I
And
think
here's
they were
the
still.
thing about Bronze Tiger. He was never part of this lineup in this current continuity. Never.
No.
Pre-Flashpoint, he was. This continuity, the original volume that Adam Glass started, he wasn't there. The new Suicide Squad book, not there. Rob Williams, not there. The only time he joined kind of a Suicide Squad was during I Am Suicide and Tom King's Batman.
And even then, you
Yeah,
could argue that was a glorified cameo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With nothing.
Because Bronze Tiger has always been generally associated with the Suicide Squad.
Speaking of Suicide Squad, like I said before, I need to bring that. They wanted Red X on that team, but then Red X broke up because he's the smartest character out there in that entire story. No bullshit. Red X cannot be on Suicide Squad. That made no sense to me. That made me angry. But you're telling me when he got captured,
Red X and Universe TV was a waste of time because it's like the concept looked interesting and nothing was done with it.
Yeah. And
Not even that. Okay, basically, if you want a concept of Red X, think no more than I believe it was the late '90s, early 2000s. The Renegade storyline where Nightwing recently partnered with Deathstroke, and that led to the deal, which would later be repurposed for Lazarus Contract. Red X is just a toned down version of the Renegade storyline for Teen Titans 03. That's all Red X was, and that's all he ever will be.
Yep.
Yeah, and as for who Red X was, like, oh, he was this character from this book, and then it's revealed, oh, he's actually the original Red X, which we don't know who the heck this guy was because we never found out who he was. And since the book wrapped up, which was last year, hasn't seen since then.
Yep.
I heard a theory. I heard a very long-term theory, but editorial wouldn't go through with it. The fact that it was going to be Grant Wilson brought back.
That would be interesting.
Wait, what? Brought back to life.
You could use the Lazarus Pit. You could use Cosmic Shenanigans. Not to mention, Deathstroke is not exactly the best dad in the world, and he was reeling from Grant's death. So he would jump at the chance to use the Lazarus Pit to bring him back.
And speaking of Deathstroke's kids,
bring back.
You even notice though, since Deathstroke's last ongoing series, and not talking about Deathstroke Incorporated, Priest Run, Jericho is not featured in the books and the book wrapped up.
No, he had a
part of me to that happen. Also, Taylor's gone too. Wait, Taylor. She's not dead. She's alive.
It's weird what happened with her. They kind of merged the New 52 version with her with the pre-Flash version who was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she died, and then the universe brought her back. And aside from that, nothing has really been done with Tara at all.
I mean, what more can you really do? She betrays the team. She partners with Deathstroke recently. To what extent depends on which version and continuity you're talking about. And
she was also part of Deathstroke's Titans team in his own book.
Deathstroke Defiance.
Deathstroke
Defiance. And I think Wallace West
costumes.
Yep. And I think Wallace West Kid Flash was on that
team too.
Yeah, he was part of the team. They also had
Lavender
Power Girl, the second one.
Yep, Tanya Briggs, something like that.
Oh yeah, Power Girl. Yeah,
she along with the rest of the cast of that group just disappeared. Power Girl's back, and yet the Power Girl she knows went back to Earth 2, and yet we have the regular universe Power Girl back. It's a bit confusing against Power Girl right now.
Yeah, it can be a mess.
Because what are you going to do with Tanya? I'm glad also Priest right the fact that, because here's the thing with Tanya. Tanya is younger than Deathstroke.
Yes.
And she hung around with him. I appreciate the fact that Deathstroke didn't try to sleep with her. Because I think she's like about 20-ish, and Deathstroke is probably in his 50s.
Yes.
it would not look
Yeah.
very good for him. Because he already did it. Because it was implied he did it once already, and doing another girl would not look good for him at all. And I appreciate Priest not going down that route.
Yep.
I think the only reason Wolfman did that was because he was trying to play some social commentary about how some young women would do that to get their way in the 80s.
Yeah.
Correct me if
but
I'm wrong on
nowadays,
that.
that would not work at all. That would count as
Poor taste.
statutory rape.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
True,
a charge.
but-
That's charged nowadays for statutory rape.
But
Yep.
Even though
Carol
it's
is
intentional,
psychopath.
but because basically you have an adult doing a minor, like a teenager, it's considered statutory. That's the charge that people can charge right now because if Deathstroke did it nowadays, he'd be charged with statutory rape, along with a bunch of other stuff he's charged with. Which here's the strange thing about when Deathstroke was on trial in the Marvel and George Perez book. Like the only thing Judge found guilty for was having possession of unlicensed weapons.
Of course.
That was it.
That was
That's
what he
it?
found guilty for, not for Death of Terra, not for the other bullcrap he did, for having unlicensed weapons in his house. Which, and what did he get? 1 year in prison. What you got out in 6 months? Because basically, beat the crap out of him.
That's funny.
Because
And-
Beast Boy was still like the way Mark Robin wrote him in the book is that he was still grieving over Terra's death.
Yep.
Even though Terra betrayed the team and tried to kill everyone.
Young love, it happens.
Because basically he was basically like if you read that book from the end of Judas Contract up until Tales of Teen Titans 58, which is
Yep.
the last issue, which was regular issue before it became a reprint book. Basically he is angry, he's snapping his own team, he is not in a good mood, and the whole thing is he hates Deathstroke for killing Terra, even though Terra committed suicide.
Yeah,
Pretty
Terra did it. Yeah.
And kind of in a way, Marv Wolfman was probably trying to end this whole feud between the two of them because later on they got along fine, but they weren't friends per se. They got along
As well as heroes and villains do. They banter,
Yeah.
they fight, stuff like that.
But the thing is, afterwards, Deathstroke didn't have to interact with Beast Boy very much afterwards.
No, he
Very
did.
rarely ever did. And Beast Boy became much more of a character after that encounter. Though, do you know what happened in Canada after that storyline happened?
What?
Trigon.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
try
yeah,
to Terra.
Spider-Man stuff happened.
Yeah, and then Trigon died until Joe Winnick brought it back for his run for Titans in 2008.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Winnick wants to do stuff Marv Wolfman did. Like, first he kills off Brother Blood
Yep.
by having his retcon saying we know they said in the book was a daughter. Have him kill Brother Blood, and then he brings back Trigon for no reason.
Did Trigon do anything in that arc? Okay, I didn't read it.
Not really. Like, as of recently, Trigon has done nothing in the current continuity. He had one story arc for
He
Lebdel's
got
run.
killed right in the outline, but y'all killed him.
Yeah, the thing with Trigon is he's a character who DC has no idea what to do with him.
Yeah.
Even in the Decamu, he didn't do that much. He had a brief brawl with Darkseid, and then Cyborg warped them to a black hole, consuming the entire planet. But other than that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense. I was happy about that. You had to go out of badass. And
I still haven't seen Apocalypse War, the movie. I haven't seen it yet.
It's a very dark movie.
For some
Yeah.
reason, it's called Just Like Dark Apocalypse War, despite the fact it's adapted from a Just Like story arc.
yeah, it's because Constantine's the point of view character and censorship.
Well, not really. This movie's rated R. It doesn't
And
censor
that
at all.
movie
It's just
was
bloody.
actually the end of that continuity.
Yep.
Yep. It killed that continuity. It blows it up.
Yeah,
No,
those movies were a mixture of it was hit or miss at best. It was also a period of time where people at DC thought people wanted to buy Batman or Justice League. No Superman, no Wonder Woman. Despite we did get some Superman movies out of that with the
We did.
Death of Superman
We did,
and
definitely.
I actually own those movies. I still haven't seen them yet. I do know Tomasi wrote an adaptation of that movie for a miniseries. And of course, I think it was just recently, DC released a 30th anniversary one-shot for Reign of the Supermen.
Yep. It was really good.
Yeah.
Which brought back all the people who worked on the original story. And I do mean everybody. Jurgens, the Simonsons,
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
Which this was a follow-up to
Definitely Superman put it in version.
Yes. Which
The only one who
did
didn't-
the funeral for a friend that does not get a one shot.
No, it does not.
No, it did not.
But
Which you would think
everyone
that
got
would
a
happen, but that didn't happen for some reason.
in this anthology. Just about everyone got a character-driven story. The only one who didn't get one was Hank Henshaw, but that's because he was the villain.
He was the
while
villain.
all this was going on.
And yes,
A
they
rat-
brought up in the story when he blew up Coast City.
Yeah,
Yep.
they do reference that. They do reference that.
Because it happened in Green Lantern 46. Because in story, the reason why he blew up Coast City because his late wife was from there.
Yep. And this and the domino effect to how become a villain, become Parallax.
Yep, but years later, the city was rebuilt.
Yep.
But the population was not as the size it was once prior to that. And it was implied that Hal Jordan's family, who was living in the city, basically his brother's family died. But then you read Jeff Johns like, nope, they did not die in that story. I think they were out of town when that happened. So
Yeah,
they came back
in
and
that
they're regular
run.
characters in that run as supporting characters. And then when the relaunch happened, they weren't featured until toward the end of Venditti's run for the book, where they featured for like a few issues, where Hal met his pre-Flashpoint counterpart, became Parallax. They fought once, hasn't seen since then.
Didn't Parallax feature in Green Arrow recently?
Yes. No, actually, not that. He appeared in Telos. I'm not kidding. He appeared in that book.
Yeah, that book, Telos, waste time of character. They basically spun his own book and book like accidents. He hasn't seen since then.
Yeah, the
Oh,
book.
Convergence. Okay.
Yeah.
No. These are after Convergence.
Yeah, Convergence had 3 spin-off type of things afterwards. One was the
Lois and Clark
popular
were pretty
Superman,
amazing.
Lois and Clark. This I can sell very well. What I heard. Parallax showed up in Green Lantern and the Telos series.
Yep.
And that was it. That's all we got. Oh, and also Earth 2 Society.
Oh,
It's gonna be bad. It's unnecessary. Like
it's the weakest of the trilogy, but Earth 2 Saga is pretty solid in general. But Society is
Of
the
the 3
weakest
weekly
of the three.
series, the worst one was New 50 Futures End. The best one was Batman Eternal. That was the best one.
Oh, definitely.
It's horrible. I'm beyond bad. Pissed. Like what? You
Wait,
killed
didn't-
my big turn against the bullshit for Tinder Goblin? Are you high? Yeah.
Didn't Patrick Gleason's Robin, son of Batman run take place during DCYOU?
Yeah.
I
Yep. It did.
Or at least it was
yes.
being published during that time.
It did.
Yes, it
probably
was
take
actually it wasn't
somebody-
Damien son of Batman. It was Robin son of Batman.
Okay.
And here's the strange thing though: when the Flash issue came out, it was 10 years after Damien's debut.
Wow. What?
The book was actually really good under Gleason. I think a lot of people were worried. I heard one person. I remember when the book came out, people thought Patrick Gleason was having a Tom McFarlane effect. You know, an artist who could also do the art writing as well.
Yep.
And the book was solid.
Book was great. It was great. I did fall to
It got canceled for Robin War, but other than that, it was pretty
Robin
good.
War was horrible. We should tell a story.
It got canceled not long afterwards. Like it was immediate per se. It was like not long after that event wrapped up. They had like one issue. Grayson ended not long after that.
Grayson ended it have a good thing, but you ran out that story needed to end. You couldn't get the story forever.
Yeah, the ending of Rob Moore's like, oh, we're gonna tease him and Grayson with Dick Grayson, and
nothing.
It was abandoned. It was abandoned.
yeah,
God,
that
man,
got
the
caught
whole
up in the
story.
opening arc of Nightwing.
Yeah.
The concept was salvaged, but even then,
Yeah, it's almost like it's like the whole point of that story was to just be an advertisement for We Are Robin.
Ugh. I hate that book.
Which
Yeah,
the book
the
wasn't
whole
terrible
story.
per se. Tiffy, did you like the artwork for that book?
No.
It was
all right.
it was Lee Bajimro.
I
he did the
know,
writing
I
artwork
know
for that
that.
book. And you may have heard these other books he worked on. Joker,
Yeah.
Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, Batman Damned. There was one of the
Yep.
four Watchmen series. And
Vortex.
Batman Deathblow. They worked on 5 books together. Lee Bajimro also worked on Batman Noel.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It probably came up already.
I own it.
No, wait. I'm getting confused with another Batman book.
I think it's like a 120-page one-shot. that one?
Yeah.
It's a Christmas issue. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
gorgeous.
I know, but that one's good. But the one I'm referring to is another book. I think he drew that book. It came out recently.
That book came
And-
out prior to Robin War.
Now,
Yeah.
there's two versions of. If you're just not joining us, there's not really a whole lot on board to Blue Vortex Chapter 4. It was just moving the plot along and some revelations.
Yeah.
But so there wasn't really too much to talk about if you're just now joining us. But to briefly go back to Parallax, there's two versions. There's the pre-retcon version, and then there's the retcon version, and then there's Emerald Twilight.
Yep.
In Emerald Twilight, Hal Jordan just had temporary insanity and just lost it.
Yep.
Post retcon, he was possessed by the Parallax entity in his grief.
Speaking of Parallax, he had to appear in Green Lantern Be With My Power, the anime movie. I'm not joking. They did that. Wait, what? Wait. You're telling me you're watching the whole Emerald Twilight with how Jordan become evil, and apparently he's doing what the Green Lantern got blown up because of Sinestro?
You know, when Hal died, he became the Spectre, and then when he came back, because Tibby, did you notice that when he became Parallax, he had like white in his hair, and then you read Jeff Johns run, the white is gone because being the Spectre de-aged him.
Yeah, too. But what I'm referring to is the Be With My Power animated movie.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, well, they essentially take Kyle Rayner's origin, they give it to Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. Wait, why?
But
Jon Stewart was already established as a Green Lantern prior to that story.
yeah, he was. He debuted in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe.
Yes.
Danny O'Neill and Neil Adams created him back in mid 70s.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it was like
found
the only major character that made his debut in that run that actually is significant. But listen to stuff Neil Adams has done, and he will explain in detail why he created Jon Stewart. And this actually is one character that gets a lot of praise, except here's the weird thing about Jon Stewart. You see him in cartoons. You ever notice, though, he does not get a live-action counterpart?
That's been
No, he
driving
does
me
not.
crazy for years. What the hell?
Like, the only
That-
one you get
that's-
is Al. And Alan
That's-
Scott, that's it.
I think that's due to separate licensing for live action.
Maybe.
Yes, and it's sad that Jon Stewart's creators are both gone. But like of all the Lanterns, the only ones left alive, Kyle Rayner is still around. I'm trying to think. I know that the two the Jeff Johns created, of course, they're still around because they only debuted in the last decade. But of the four original ones, Kyle Rayner is the only one where his creators are still left alive.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
had the recent passing of Neil Adams last year,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
absolute great guy to be in person. I really miss talking to the guy. I really wish I could get a lot more stuff from him because, like, scroll right there. It's next to Sinestро's ring. That cover.
Yep.
That is
No, Tevye, right?
News. That is
Yep.
the first appearance of Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart was recruited to be a deputy Lantern. And prior to this, about 20 issues prior to this, we had a debut of Guy Gardner.
Yep.
And then prior to issue, that cover right there, the very next issue, Jon Stewart took over as the lead Green Lantern book for the next couple of years until prior to 200. Hal came back, and that whole run's in trade.
Nice.
Yeah. Volume 3, a quarter of it is in trade, but not the entirety of it. DC have been collecting the Kyle Rayner run in trade, where they start with Emerald Twilight and they go straight to about issue 75, I think it is. But that's as far as they go. The later issues, the Joe Winnick stuff, that's all in trade. It's just not the entirety of that runs in trade. There is the issues that roll back, which is the first 8 issues that run. That's in trade. But a lot of the air stuff is not in trade. Oh, fun fact about that issue 50. Not that one. The other 50 you saw that scroll down, that 50 right there with Blackest Night. Not that one. The one with the Parallax.
Hang on.
That one.
Here it is.
According to I heard, this comic sold 100,000 sales.
Nice.
Yes,
I
this was
think it
one of
was
the
like
last.
third or fourth highest comic sold of all time.
Yes.
That's cool. Well, speaking of issue 50, the OG issue 50, apparently from what I heard, apparently the OG issue 50 was a rush job. But because they rushed the whole Emerald Twilight stuff because screw it.
Okay, Timmy, let me explain about issue 50 thing. That was volume 3, issue 50. That was the second one. They had one for
Right.
volume 1. The original, the first Green Lantern volume that published back in the 30s and 40s, that was 38 issues. The second
Yes.
volume, which was Hal Jordan's book mostly, that was 200 issues, but there was also 201 to 224. That was the first one of Green Lantern Corps. And then we had this book here, which was Green Lantern Volume 3. I had heard the reason why they did this. The reason why they did this because the book was tanking. And the sales was
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Okay.
reason why, because some people thought Hal was boring. So
Yeah.
let's spice it up with Kyle Rayner, who actually had a pretty decent run in the book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and make how Jordan is doing. And a lot of people were pissed that this happened. But honestly, I don't blame it on them. But Jesus, why I did it was a bad idea when day one.
I feel like more people were mad in the fact that Parallax was rushed in
Yeah, that too.
Beware My Power. That more than anything. And Hal is completely under mind control. He's still under the influence of Parallax the entire time. He doesn't break out of it or anything like that. Nick, have you actually seen Beware My Power yet? Because I don't want to spoil
No, I
it for you.
haven't. But here's a
Yeah.
little fun fact: that image you show with him with the rings, that is not the first time the animation has done that. On the CGI series, Hal did that too, except it was with a bunch of Orange Lantern rings.
Yep, which is very cool. I love that show doing the animated
Yeah, that's
series.
a very nice Easter egg because if you actually caught that reference when the show was airing, you would have lost it if you actually caught that
Just,
Easter egg.
just type in animated series Hal
Orange
Jordan, yeah, Orange Lantern.
I love the way this stuff. The way that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a shame that according to what I heard, this show was kind of followed up with Young Justice, which had a terrible resolution to it.
Yeah, it was
There
a
it is,
sister
right there.
series.
I just saw it. There
Yeah,
it
it
is.
was
There's the Easter egg right there.
It was a
Yep.
sister series where they were in syndication around the same time.
Yes.
Yep.
And they mentioned
that
John Stewart in the series too, but he wasn't there. Which
And
made
Jeff,
if you
look to your left.
John. Sorry, you mean the host of the
Go up.
of the
Nice.
Tevia, go a little more to your left. The cover on your left.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the original. That's the original issue. That's the cover.
Yep, issue 49, and we're talking about two.
Yep, and this was Ron March who wrote this story because the original writer for this run was Gerald Jones.
Yeah, like I said before, they rushed this story because Lamar didn't get a chance to shut it down what he really planned.
Yeah, and then he basically created Kyle Rayner at the end of the story arc. And I think he was in the book. He wrote most of this volume afterwards. He didn't finish the run. That was actually there was one point you had Judd Winnick on the book.
Yep.
And then there's something really weird. After a crossover with Green Arrow, which is the first one they had in years, Judd Winnick took over Green Arrow for the rest of that run. From issue like 26, came on up with 26, and he was there until like issue 75, only skipping 2 issues the whole run.
Yep. It's a shame the White Lantern story, but Kyle Rayner didn't go anywhere because
that was something for the audience.
It got destroyed.
Yeah, that was something Venditti decided to get rid of. Because in story, they had him basically kind of reignite the Lantern Corps because Venditti had this thing where apparently when he was in the book, like, these wells of power that were in the source wall were like near running dry. So Hal basically had this thing where, you can't use the rings because of the whole thing with Relic. Which I like the Lights Out story. I thought it was a really cool story. It just something afterwards. It's like, what?
This is a bad idea. I hate Relic. He's not even
And then here's the
done.
strange thing. Then he got trapped in the source wall.
Yep.
And then Godhead happened. And then he got out of the source wall. Oh,
and then he did nothing.
Guess who also was trapped one point in the source wall?
Super Prime.
Black Hand.
What?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
you're
the
about the people in the source wall. Black Hand referred to the source wall as a graveyard. And yet, if you see a Source Wall in New 52, Superboy Prime is not even there at all.
But that makes no sense. You got turned Superboy in its entirety.
Because he was in cosmic limbo. That was pre-Flashpoint, and then by proxy, the New 52, he was in cosmic limbo for 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think I don't remember he showed up in the current continuity, has he?
He
No,
showed
no,
up in Death Metal. He showed up in Death Metal.
No. Not the demo in Shazam. In Jeff John's Shazam book, he appeared in that book too.
Yeah, it's almost like I think some writers DC just don't want anything to do with Superboy Prime at all. Because
He's too
of
overpowered.
And plus he's got a better reputation.
Yeah. He appeared in this book.
He's got a reputation.
Well, from Countdown.
Oh,
Can't
okay,
get a crown play this.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you to death.
Yeah, yeah.
Monarch.
Oh, shout out to Linkar because his review on that book was freaking hilarious.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and that series is hilariously bad.
Yeah.
And according to him, I'm sure this is probably true. That whole series was Danny DeVito's idea because he didn't like.
It was an idea. Send features in.
Let him cook.
Yeah, the fact you had 4 writers, and each issue had different artists on it, and I'm thinking, okay, you have an editor in this book, and you read this book, and by the way, the number is backwards. It starts at 51, ends with issue 1, and or one issue, you have it where Flash is basically these chains that I think it's Pied Piper, and I think the other one is one of their rogues. They're like
Trickster.
Yeah, and they're like screaming, and then next issue is like, "Why are you screaming for?"
Yep.
This
And
is also
you're
the
like-
one where. This is also the one where Mary Marvel gets corrupted. I believe she gets corrupted
Yeah.
in issue 36.
Yep,
Mhm.
and this book also gave her a panty shot moment.
Yep.
Wait, wasn't Darkseid sitting on a couch at one point in the
Yeah,
story?
he was.
Because that's a
Right.
recurring joke with Darkseid. A couch.
Yep. Also, the monitor show up in this story.
Who monitors the monitors?
Yep. But they
Retard.
did nothing.
Retard when basically you have Donna Troy using Jason Todd as a bat that people pull up. Now,
Yep.
I'm sure the term retard probably is not a good term to use nowadays.
No, it's not.
No.
Hey, it's
Especially
Vortex.
it probably insults people who are mentally challenged.
Yep.
I'm sure the writer who wrote it, I don't know who wrote the issue, probably wrote it as a joke.
Yep.
Also in this book, and this is explored in Action Comics, Jimmy Olsen finds out that Clark Kent is Superman.
Yep.
He
And
does find
also-
out.
Yeah, and also the fact he gets to sleep with an alien,
Yep.
which
I
what guy would
thought
not want to do that, sleep with a hot alien woman. Like, okay. And the fact comes Mr. Action.
What
Where
a
he,
bad idea.
Or at one point in the book, he actually fights outside. I'm like, Jimmy Olsen, a guy who takes photos for the Daily Planet, and he fights Darkseid in the last issue.
Hey,
And
Peter
he's
Parker can
ignored.
take photos and fight crime. Why not Jimmy Olsen?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably. And here's the thing. Oh, there's the cover. It happened. This is
Yeah.
actually a nod to the Silver Age version of Jimmy Olsen, where he got these mysterious powers, and he was part of the Legion of Superheroes. It was funny.
And it was Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal, and he gets like wacky powers or ends up in crazy shenanigans like every other issue.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Easter egg, but in context, it just doesn't work.
In context, that make any sense. Then it bought him 3. Anyway, he's gonna go and trade.
Wait, didn't they try to make a love triangle between Kyle Rayner, Donna, and Jason during the story?
Yeah, and the main character, they're talking about the Atom, Wade Palmer, which confused the hell. Like, wait, what? Why?
It was a
did I-
subplot that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it went nowhere. That story went nowhere. In fact, Grant Morrison ignored kind of Final Craig. The story was pointless. It was nothing. Wait, who's that? Who's that guy? That's Jason.
I believe that's Superman.
Yeah. Or an evil human.
But
I
yeah,
don't
Countdown to
get it.
Final Crisis issue 13. But I'm sure Nick will join us soon.
Yeah. But you dare? I did not. That's that. He's in the cat. I got that joke. Like,
But
it's just a bad idea. Anyways. Like, you know what's funny? Both Countdown features and they're both bad. Like, features put my bad beyond band. Countdown was bad, making no sense. And they're both bad stories. They both make no sense. You failed twice with a bad concept.
I could not tell you, Tevia. I really could not tell you.
Yeah, same here.
But as I was saying, the main reason with Boruto Naruto, I give the chapter a 4 out of 5. It was pretty solid for the most part. It definitely moved the plot forward. Code tampered with powers he didn't fully understand, and now everyone's paying the price for it. I didn't want to go into too much detail because, again, this is like release day of the chapter, and I wanted to give people a chance to read it. And yep. Nick is having technical difficulties on his end, so hopefully he'll be rejoining us soon. So, Taladia, anything else you want to talk about? Go on ahead. Cut loose.
Yep.
It could be Super Sons, it could be Sinister Sons, anything. Just cut loose.
Huh? Oh, yeah, shit. I'm going to say something to generate. That's my thorn to before do. The guy is calm. As for I'm gonna come at DC, besides out of the Superman book. Well, okay, that's true. I think we got JK Flash book coming out this week. I don't know. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. Satan Sons, I hope succeed. That book might succeed at the open spelling. If those books succeed, then by the time I DC, I can give up my team. We got hope. I could dream. And that's all I got.
We're still awake, Tevia?
Yep. I'm awake.
Okay. But as for me, this is a good conversation. This is a good chapter. And you sure there's nothing else you want to talk about, Tevia?
And for the board chapter is concerned, I don't know. I know that one.
Because I think on Superman Legacy, an actor was confirmed to play Lex Luthor today recently.
Yeah. I'd actually did my own video about that. I can show you the article.
Sure, go ahead.
Yep. Link to article. Yep, got screen share.
Okay.
Here it is.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yep.
It's pull-offable.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it pull off. One thing I'm intrigued about though, it just really will make his money back. That's the thing. Because this movie bombs. You can kick in gun in front of the universe goodbye. But who knows? What do you think? You think it pull it off?
There's just so much left uncertain right now, so it's really, really hard to tell, if I'm being completely honest.
I can understand that. Oh yeah, I forgot. He went to only casting. We already got cast of the engineer. Okay, if your engineer is okay, these are the comment kind of a Wildstorm. Who is part of the authority? Yeah, and Jugga Spiker, her. You she's gonna be in Human Rexy. Who is
believe
part of
she's
the authority? I'm not joking. You know? So let me get this straight. Well, I'm not super. I'm a 40 member into Human Rexy.
I'm back.
Welcome
Okay.
back, Nick.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I had some issues on my end. That's why basically I froze up.
Yeah, it's okay.
The Authority.
Yep. They're gonna
Timmy,
be
did you
in
realize though they
this
brought back
movie.
Stormwatch to the pages of Batman Brave and the Bold?
They have, but I believe this is the 30th anniversary of the Wildstorm franchise.
And yet they don't have a series right now. Isn't that kind of weird?
Mm-hmm.
That is weird. They did have Wildcats. That's wrapping up soon.
I think I just wrapped up after 12 issues. That was like a 12-issue maxi series, and that was it. Which had
Yep.
Matthew Rosberg write the book. Which he set this book up in a story in the Grifter storyline for Urban Legends.
No Jennifer Trino. That's odd. You think they have a book again, Barney?
Yeah, it's weird. They don't give them a book, but yet the only people who got a book recently has been Stormwatch, Grifter, Wildcats.
They're 40.
Midnighter, Apollo.
Yeah,
Yep.
Midnighter was actually really good. I enjoyed Midnighter by Steve Orlando.
Midnight was good.
The only thing that Timmy might not be happy was the fact they brought in Prometheus in that run.
I actually like that part because you see Midnight kick his ass.
Yeah.
Which is
And
fun.
apparently, for some reason, Prometheus was in a relationship with Midnighter.
Yeah,
Like,
I
oh,
did
yeah, I'm
that.
in Midnight. Like, what? Like, is Steve Orlando basically retconning it that Prometheus is gay?
I think so, yeah.
But it's never really delved into at all. And then he shows up in then he shows up just like America as a villain. Where he gets beat up by
There.
yeah, and apparently their headquarters was inside of Mount Justice.
What? When did that? Oh, wait. Never mind.
A book that got canceled in 29 issues. It was a damn good book.
Yeah, it was a good story.
Yeah, and then the book ended with them becoming the Justice League, the Justice Foundation, which nothing has become since then.
Yeah, it went nowhere. Like, I hate to say it, maybe kind of Wildstorm should be serving DC because they have done jack and shit with these characters. But
Like, for example, Vixen. You know what I've done with her lately?
what?
Give her Webtoons comic.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Yep. Vixen. One of the most well-respected characters in DC Comics. And she's reduced me a webcomic.
Yep.
Because we have no Justice League right now. And I've heard rumors they might bring back the Justice League. This like DC thought they were done with them.
I knew they were gonna bring them back. Because let's face it, you can't keep that team 7 forever. That team is the flagship of DC next to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Which I thought Wildstorm should be up there on this point. Because
Yeah.
they've done just about any characters.
Timmy, did you read the Warren Ellis Wildstorm book?
I read some of it, and I got so confused I just couldn't finish
It was
it.
interesting. For some reason, they featured Green Arrow in the book.
Yeah, but what did Green Arrow? The evil Green Arrow.
Yeah, and they also got a spin-off book. And that first book, Wildstorm, was 24 issues. And that was a maxi series?
I know that in Magazine series. Oh,
Yeah, that was. It was maxi series.
interesting.
And alongside, they gave a spin-off book for Death Blow. And that was 12 issues.
I don't know about that. Interesting.
Yeah. And it's getting kind of late. We've been at this almost 3 hours.
Yep.
Yep.
But while I got you, Nick, have you Boruto Naruto Storm Connection?
Oh,
What do you think?
yeah, you can move the banner.
Oh, right. Let me just change that because we talked about it earlier, and I haven't played the special story mode, but I believe Movie Theater, in his words, and I quote, "It's basically Boruto getting a girlfriend."
What?
Okay. That's interesting.
That's a thing.
But again, I was expecting Storm 5 in all honesty, but if I remember during the Storm franchise, there were a lot of in between projects or transition projects in between games. So they might want to test the waters with Storm Connections, and then we might get Storm 5 in the future. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yep.
But any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I got nothing.
It's a pretty decent chapter.
That's all I got.
It felt like it actually advanced the story.
I feel you.
Yep.
I bought the manga, so I see. I got no bad.
Well, usually I play the banner and do the SpongeBob reference. 3 hours later.
We still need to add a clip to that, like add the video to it.
The show must go on, I'm afraid.
Yep.
But I'll let you guys get a chance to do some quick promo and what you guys got coming up on the channel, and then we'll wrap up. Whichever one of y'all wants to go first.
I will go first.
Okay.
After me, we hopefully go back to Congress. I'll be reviewing the new Superman that comes out tomorrow, which is midnight only here, which is tonight. Hopefully I'll read J. Flash. I think that comes out tomorrow as well. Of course, I'll be ready to ask a new issue of that book. With Whack kill me. Please shoot me in the head. That book been horrible. Like Whack, why bring him back? Why? Horrible. Yep. Other than that, I think that's all I got for comic reviews. But anything else? Oh yeah. Yesterday, I read 100 Days, The Battle of Songbird and Snakes. It was an okay movie. It was an okay movie series. It was a good, okay prequel. Other than that, I think that's all I got for Wednesday. Oh yeah, Thursday is Invincible mid-season finale. I'll be reviewing that because I love Invincible. I love that series. So I'll be reviewing mid-season finale of that show. And I think that's all I got for this week.
Okay. Nick?
Get to see that, Tivia?
Nice. That's cool.
Yep.
Dawn of DC Volume 1, Superman Volume 1, out now at your local comic book shop.
Yep.
Nick, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I have something to do tomorrow. Gonna do a video for Devil's Part-Timer, a couple comic corners, and another anime. And that's pretty much it I'm planning to do tomorrow.
Nice. Hold on, let me get you out of solo layout. As for me, thank you. As for me, and yes, it's I'm gonna keep my webcam off for this. But as for me, the Marvels review will be officially out sometime tomorrow. The Wasted Potential Respawn. That project's been on the back burner for a while, but that'll finally be dropping soon. And of course, the SWTOR playthroughs, where I have already done Smuggler, Smuggler, Republic Trooper, and Imperial Agent. So I'm making my rotation starting Jedi Knight again, probably within the next week or two. But I just want to thank my guest for being on the panel tonight. Movie Theater King, all of you, welcome guests on the channel anytime. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. We are continuing the new dynamic duo and Blazing Shonen, so please check out and stay tuned for official updates on that. And anything else you want to say, gentlemen?
No, that's all I got.
Not that I can think of.
Okay, I feel like before we wrap up, there's just one last thing I want to say for all my longtime fans here.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbot.
Thank you, Pika.
I don't never get old.
And I know Claudia hates that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I save it for a rainy day.
It's worth it.
But on that note, like, comment, subscribe, everybody. Flame off. Whoa!